Good evening, my name is Richard. This is Over and Over. It's the Arsenal Women's Show, of course. Now, you may have noticed over the last week or so, there's been a little bit of rebranding, shall we say, starting with the channel. That's looking ahead to next season. There's going to be a few changes on the channel starting next season, but a bit like the team wear the next season's kit, don't they, at the last game of the season before. So we're getting it all out for you on our last show of the season, just to kind of introduce you to it all. We will talk about that a little bit more, obviously, throughout the summer and stuff like that. We're going to be covering the Euros and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, there will be a few little changes next season to the channel, a few little changes to the show. But of course, tonight it is our final show of the season. It's always one of the highlights of the whole season, isn't it? The season review, and this one could actually be quite special, couldn't it? Let's be honest. It could be quite special. I don't know what we're going to talk about this season. I mean, not really much happened, did it? Really, much of the season. It's been a bit disappointing, hasn't it? Overall, so I'm sure we'll find something that we can look back on. We are going to look back on the WSL season, the domestic cups, and of course, the little matter of the Champions League. What happened in that? Anyway, I'm sure we will find something good to talk about. Looking back on the season 24-25 for the Arsenal women. It's been great, hasn't it? Of course it has. It's all coming out, of course, the other side of this. Arsenal Women's Show. It is, of course, the 2024-2025 season review, and of course we have got Andreas in his brand new Arsenal top. Look at that, fantastic. See, I think we get the new branding now at the end of the previous season. That's what we do. Andreas, have you recovered from Lisbon? What an experience that must have been for you.
Yeah, I think Lisbon is an experience, or these were emotions. You can't copy them or have them again. It's a once in a lifetime experience. I'm so grateful and glad that I made the trip, despite all the costs and just for a weekend. But it was worth every euro and every second invested for this. It was just fantastic to be there and experience this. Yeah. It's still so emotional, and when you think it's just 1 week. Or 8 days ago, it's so unreal, and I rewatched the whole match during the week, and it must settle. Yeah, we are champions of Europe. It's just fantastic saying this.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think it's really sunk in yet. To be honest, I mean, I know, like you said, it was 8 days ago, and I think all this week it's just been. Did that really happen? Did that actually happen? Was that something that was real? Because it didn't feel real, did it? At the time, it didn't feel real. And in everything that's happened since hasn't really felt real, but it is real. We did win the Champions League. We are the champions of Europe, and wow, just absolutely amazing. Obviously, you know, majority of the show tonight, I'm sure we're going to talk about that a bit more. Obviously, looking back on the season, almost forget everything else. Everything is about the final last week, but there were other things that happened as well, so we will look back on that as well. Boy, and of course, Amar is with us as well. I mean, obviously last week he was at the parade as well on Sunday. That must have been something quite special as well.
Yeah, can you hear me first of all? Sorry, can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, that's fine. Just a bit of noise, sorry, in the background. Yeah, no, on the Saturday, watching the screen with my dad, being there with the fans, and then going to the event on Monday. It doesn't really get much better than that, does it? I mean, I still can't believe it's sunk in, and then getting myself one of the Champions tops as well. I mean, what more could you ask for? It's just unreal what's just happened. I don't think, as you say, it's still quite sunk in yet either.
No, I don't think it has really, but anyway, we'll get used to it over the summer, I'm sure. Greg with us, of course. Greg says, evening all, got a lot to talk about. Another season where we should have done better. We've only won. Yeah, I know exactly, my friend. What can you say? Do you know what I mean? We just have to make do, won't we? We just have to make do with what we've got. That's it. That's all we can do. But good to see you as well. We've got Morpheus as well. Says hello to everyone. Hey to you. Hope you're doing well. Terry's with us, of course. He says even Richard all in the chat. We've got have we got mic issues? Have we? Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
We can't hear you very good, Richard.
No, we can't hear you very good. Yeah, I thought it was my end, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's Richard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a bit noisy. I can hear that. Yeah, can you hear that noise? Yeah, it's that noise.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Oh.
It sounds alright on my end, but anyway.
It's getting worse.
Is it? Oh, that's not good, is it? I don't know what's happening there, to be honest with you. Actually, why don't they unplug that? Just to see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's better, mate. That's much better.
Better?
Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah, that's better, I think.
The noise is gone, but Richard is still not loud enough.
Okay.
This is not good, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, but that's awful.
I can't hear none of this. I need to find out what's happening. Give me 2 seconds.
Turn that down, man. That's awful. Oh, I was wondering. I thought it was my end. That's awful. All right, take your time, mate. No worries. That's awful. I don't know. I can't hear.
No, it's not getting better.
So is there still feedback now?
No, it's still this terrible noise, and you are really not to hear.
2 seconds.
All right, take your time, mate. It's all right. Oh.
Yeah, the noise is gone. Oh.
No, it's not. Oh, it's not. Oh. I'm gonna have to refresh. I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah. Do you have any other device?
We'll just have to do it without. We'll just have to do it like that. Is that all right or not?
The noise is gone now, but say something.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, it's much better now. Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, good. Right. Okay. Well, we'll just have to do it without the other mic then. That's all. It must be some problem.
That's all right. No, we can hear you. We can hear you. That's good. That's good.
Oh, okay, good. Right. Yvette says, we can't. Yeah, I don't know what's happened here. Something's obviously gone wrong with the settings somewhere. I'm not sure.
Now it's good.
Anyway, Vicky says, I've watched it twice since Lisbon. I think we've all watched it at least twice, let's be honest. I think we definitely have.
Watch the highlights. Watch the highlights. Yeah, watch the highlights.
There'll be never enough. I don't think you can watch it enough times. That's the thing. LG says, why did you guys wait 8 days to make a show after the final? Well, a couple of reasons for that. Because one, we were busy. Andreas was flying around all over the world watching the Lionesses, so it was the best time we could get everyone together, really. I wanted to go straight away last week, but I think that it wouldn't have been much of a show, really, because I think we was all high on emotions and stuff like that. I mean, it's better sometimes to have a, calm down. And this is looking back on the season anyway. It's not just about last week, is it? Anyway, Morpheus says, wires interfering with each other. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure what the problem is there, but anyway. Terry says, as Amar stops playing with the let's stop playing the electricity bill. Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, John says much better now. Good stuff, right? As long as we can hear everyone, that's the main thing. I mean, there's no point having a show if no one can hear anybody, is there? Really, let's be honest. Right, so what we are going to do is, before we get into the end of season awards, of course, which is going to be exciting, we are going to look back, of course, on the season. So why don't we get the quickest part out of the way first? I think that might be the best way. So the domestic cups then obviously didn't really go to plan particularly well, did they? The FA Cup in particular was a big disappointment, that Liverpool game. And of course, losing our grip on the Continental Cup, now called the Subway Sandwich Cup, whatever it is. Losing, of course, to Man City. That one. Both of those defeats at Meadow Park as well, which was quite frustrating because we always had a good record there. And I was quite disappointed with the domestic cups. I think we all expected better from both of those two competitions. You know, that the League Cup had been ours for the last 2 years, and the FA Cup's one we wanted to win for a long time. It's eluded us for long enough, and it never quite worked out, did it, this season in those competitions? And very, very frustrating. And, you know, I think overall, we will talk about kind of disappointments later on, but for me, though, the domestic cups were one real big downer on the season. I mean, Andreas, what did you make of our runs in the domestic cups? Because I know some people might look on it now and say it doesn't matter, it's not important because of what we did win. But had we not won the Champions League, then those two defeats would have been really important to the season. I still think they are, because I think the domestic cups are important to Arsenal, and we've come up short again. Particularly the FA Cup was really, really disappointing, wasn't it? Because we got a favourable draw as well, didn't we, really, at home?
Yeah, both results in the domestic cups were disappointing. And yes, of course, we won the Champions League, but this is, the icing on the cake, and you can't expect to win the Champions League. So our goal must be to win trophies in the domestic competitions. And yes, of course, you can lose against Man City at home. It was not our best performance, not from the team, not from the manager, but especially the FA Cup run was very disappointing. And I remember saying after both the domestic cups, when we went out, Renee is learning how to coach in knockout games. And fortunately, she has learned quickly. But anyway, both domestic cups not what we wanted, and both disappointing. And I was at the FA Cup final for the third time in a row at Wembley, and now watching Chelsea versus Man United. It's not why I'm traveling to Wembley to see Chelsea United compete. I want to see our team there, and this was not what we expected and not what we want for the next years. Domestic cups must be better.
Yeah, absolutely, they must be better. I mean, my advice would be don't buy a ticket for the FA Cup final until we're in it. To be fair, wait till the semi-finals have been played and we're in the final, then maybe look for tickets then. But no, I mean, you're absolutely right. The FA Cup is, you know, we're the record winners of that competition, and we haven't won it now for, it'll be 10 years, won't it, next year if we, you know, so it's well overdue. And that to me was probably the biggest disappointment of all. You know, the League Cup, the Man City game, they scored in the last kick of the game virtually, didn't they? And we know it was going to go extra time and stuff like that. And that was frustrating because that's a cup we'd won the last 2 seasons. But the FA Cup was the one for me, because that this year really, there was an opportunity there, I felt. You know, I say we had a favourable draw, and it was maybe the one that we could have really, you know, ended that run of failure in it, really. So yeah, that was disappointing. But I suppose now looking back, it doesn't hurt quite as much as it did at the time, I suppose, and subsequently in a few weeks after. But yeah, I mean, you're right though, Andreas. The domestic cups are important. You know, everyone, the glamour of the Champions League and stuff is fantastic. We know that, and obviously the WSL. But the domestic cups are important. They're the thing that, if you can't win one of the 2 big ones, you have to try and win one of the others, don't you? And you have to keep ticking along. And we've done it the last couple of seasons with the League Cup, which was great. And yeah, I think next season we need to have a better go at everything. And certainly the FA Cup's the one, isn't it? I think we all feel the same about that. So yeah, big disappointment there. I mean, Amar, obviously, you know, we came up short, didn't we, in those 2 cups? And I think Andreas was right about Rene may be learning the knockout football, because it's totally different to the league, isn't it? The Champions League's over 2 legs, and maybe she needs to understand that a bit more for next season and get it a little bit better with tactics and stuff like that in those knockout games next season.
Yeah, I suppose that's where squad depth comes into it as well. I mean, you can see how well we've done in the Champions League and all that. A few signings are needed to compete and close the gap with the likes of Chelsea. But she's still learning. I mean, what she's done in 7 months to transform the team for West Ham has been nothing short of remarkable. But I think she'll get there in good time. They'll give another contract to her next year, and we'd like to see us get to the FA Cup. I mean, it'll be 10 years now since we last won it next year, which is for us is too long a drought. With the record holders, and to see us when it isn't good enough for us. We won 2 back-to-back Conti Cups. So I still think priorities now would be to focus on trying to get the league back. I mean, with some good investment in the summer, we can definitely close the gap to Chelsea, even though it's 12 points. I mean, they can win all the domestic trophies and fine, but I mean, we won 2 Champions Leagues, so we've kind of overshadowed them a little bit this season, even though they won the treble. But going back to the point you make, I think she still maybe got to utilize the squad a bit better and make 1 or 2 changes earlier. But I mean, it has to be, as I said, 10 years without the cup next year, and Conti Cup maybe has to not necessarily be put back on the back burner, but maybe it needs to be we need to do better in them going forward.
Yeah, maybe the way forward for the FA Cup is to make it 2 legs, and then we might be all right. That might be. Maybe we should try and push through a rule change in the FA Cup, make it 2 legs, and then we'll probably win it next season, won't we? But no, you're absolutely right. We need to do better in those competitions, and Chelsea have shown that it's possible to win more than 1 trophy a season. If you get your squad right, you've got your tactics right, and you can balance things in the right way. And maybe we haven't quite got to that stage yet, but hopefully that will be the progression over the next 2 or 3 seasons. That's what we want to see, don't we? But that was disappointing. But knockout football's like that, isn't it? You have to turn up on the day or you're out, and that's it. And that, unfortunately for us, on those 2 particular occasions, we didn't play particularly well on those 2 games, and that's it. You're out, and that's gone. But I suppose I'll say in the overall scheme of things, maybe we can accept that for this season. Of course, the next competition I want to focus on is the main bulk of the season, really. The big one in many ways, and again, we've come up short. Now, for me, actually, this season in the WSL, I was probably more relaxed about most of it than the last few seasons. And that was maybe because, for all intents and purposes, our chances had gone after about 3 or 4 games in. We'd pretty much blown it. So the rest of the season, obviously, Rene came in, and it was just about improving the performances and the results. And that was what happened. And I kind of enjoyed it. The last couple of seasons have been frustrating because we maybe should have been challenging Chelsea a little bit closer, and we've fell away and not been good enough. Whereas this season, obviously the title was gone after they beat us at the Emirates, pretty much in reality, wasn't it? And we progressed a lot after that. We ended up accumulating more points than Chelsea did up until the last couple of games of the season, and we showed that improvement. And to me, I enjoyed that. And although we haven't won the league, which is, again, not really good enough for Arsenal to not win it for another season, let Chelsea win, 6 in a row, we've shown the progression throughout the season in the WSL. And it gives us hope, it gives me hope, that the future is going to actually be better, certainly in that particular competition, which is the biggest. Yes, the Champions League has got, it's got the glamour, all that kind of stuff, but the WSL is a bigger trophy to win because that's your everyday games, isn't it? That's your league season over 22 games, and you're the best team wins the WSL. The best team doesn't always win a cup, even the Champions League. We'll come on to that obviously a bit later, but for me, I was actually overall I was quite happy with the WSL season. If you take away the first few games under Jonas's kind of the dying embers of Jonas, and then looking at it from when Rene took over, I'm actually reasonably happy with the WSL season. Came second when it was looking impossible at one point. And I don't look at the gap as being 12 points. I look on the gap as being 6 points, because those 2 games against Villa and Brighton, we would have won them 2 games if we'd needed to. 100%. Everything was focused on the Champions League, and we wasn't really that bothered. We'd pretty much got the top 3 anyway at that point. So I don't look on those 2 games as being significant in particular. I think if if we were in the title race, I think we would have focused on them games differently and would have probably won them. So I think the gap's 6 points. No 6 points for the 2 games against Chelsea that they beat us. And that's all we've got to improve next season, realistically. We just got to get results against Chelsea, which isn't easy, but that's where we are. So I'm happy. I would give the WSL season probably a 7 out of 10, actually. Looking at it overall, I'm quite happy. Yeah. Yes, I want more next season, of course, but I'm actually reasonably happy. I mean, Andreas, what did you make of the WSL season? Because I actually quite enjoyed it overall. Although we didn't win it, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, in the end, finishing second is a success when you see where we came from. And I think after 4 games, we had won 1, drawn 2, and lost 1, and were in 6th position. So I think somewhere in October, the WSL title race for us was over, and with everything what developed then, and with the change of the management, and the way the team found together and played everything, it was a good run we had then, and we nearly opened the title race again. But the thing is, Chelsea, out of 22 games, they maybe made 18 or 19 games in which you could say they were not playing good. But they nearly won.
They found ways to win
everything, and even if they couldn't win, they drew 3 games, and I think 10 games out of 22, Chelsea won with 1 goal difference.
That's correct.
And this shows the winning mentality, or that they always find a way to win. And of course, our run, especially in 2025, was very good. A lot of games in WSL, we won 4-0, 5-0, 4-1. Very good. Yeah, of course, the 2 games against Brighton and Villa, let's not talk about them anymore. But in the end, it's 12 points difference to Chelsea. And even if you say it's only 6 points, it's a gap, and we must close it. And it's not necessary in every game to have a firework and score a lot of goals. It's enough to win the games, just like Chelsea does. And in the end, finishing second was more than I expected in October or November. And we have United and City behind us. So it was a good WSL season, but not good enough, or good, not as we expect or wanted, and not what a club like Arsenal needs in the WSL. If we don't win the WSL, we have to compete until the last day of the season, like we did 2 or 3 years ago. And this must improve next season. We can't throw away the league in the first 4 or 5 weeks. This was disappointing. And in the end, okay, Champions League secured, and it was not necessary because we qualified. Apart from the Champions League, we secured our spot with second place, and that was a good result. But good is not good enough for a club like Arsenal.
No, absolutely no. I'm going to agree with you. Absolutely, it's not really good enough. No. LG says, so by your logic, winning a league in Cyprus is bigger than winning the well, winning the domestic league. I mean, not every team in Cyprus is going to be in the Champions League, are they? So I think the club's judged over how they do domestically. You know, everybody, if you look at the Premier League, for example, everyone made a big deal of Tottenham finishing so low in the league because that's what you judge a club on. They won a European trophy. True. Terrible season because they lost 21 games in the league, and you are judged on your domestic performance in your domestic league. Everything 100%. So I think it's, is winning the league in Cyprus bigger than winning the Champions League? No. Is winning the WSL bigger than winning the Champions League? No, it's not bigger. It just, that's how you judge your team. You judge your team on the 22 games because most teams aren't even in the Champions League. So how do you judge them? You judge them by how they perform domestically, and that's what you have to do. And winning your domestic league or performing well in your domestic league for a club like Arsenal in particular is so important, because ultimately if we finish fourth, fifth and 6th in the WSL, but we maybe win the odd Champions League here and there or the odd FA Cup, that's not good enough for Arsenal. That's not good enough because we are judged on how we perform in the league. The fact Chelsea have won it 6 seasons in a row doesn't reflect well on us. And although we've just won the Champions League and we've overshadowed everything they've done in the last 10 years, probably, but ultimately you are judged on how you're doing your domestic league. So I do think that is important. It's not bigger to win it necessarily, but it's more important to the club long term, because you're only going to win your Champions League here and there if you're lucky. But every year you're competing in your league, aren't you? Every single season you've got 22 games in your league to decide how good you are, and that's what you're judged on. So I think it is important. Yeah. Ryan says, yeah, let's beat Chelsea next season. Absolutely, we
can beat Chelsea next season. We can beat them. Absolutely.
He says we need to keep the winning mentality. We are too inconsistent. I feel under Rene we've been pretty consistent actually throughout all the competitions. Really, we've shown consistency. Yes, in the league we dropped a few points here and there. We need to improve that, but overall I think we've got a lot better the consistency wise. Greg says those 2 games were significant. It showed a lack of commitment and having to rely on the last game. Well, in the end it did, yeah. John says a good point about the points. On another day we beat Chelsea at least once and win the league. Yeah, I agree. Those 2 Chelsea games, we were really unfortunate to lose them both.
Yeah, we were.
Although we were 2-0 down after 10 minutes, we could easily have got something from that game, maybe should have. And the game away from home, it was that penalty right near the end. We were close to getting a result there as well. So, no, I agree. They wasn't miles better than us, Chelsea, this season.
No.
They were lucky to win the 2 games. And over the rest of the games, as Andreas said, they scraped a few lucky wins. And, yeah, we that's one thing we maybe need to improve next season. When we played well, we wiped teams away 4 or 5 goals all the time. We did it so many times, and that's great. But when we didn't play particularly well, sometimes we found it hard to get the wins. Chelsea managed to get those results, didn't they? And that's the one thing we do need to improve. Is that consistency? I don't know. It's a mentality thing, isn't it? I think it is a mentality thing. And that's what we need to look at. And if we can improve that next season, then we're going to have a good chance. Terry says, I'd say more of a 5 out of 10. Dropped too many silly
out of 10.
and got bullied out of the games against Chelsea. Well, a little bit. I thought it was unlucky against Chelsea. Both of those 2 games, actually. I mean, did we drop too many silly points? When you look at the 2 Chelsea games, that's where we've lost the league, essentially. Did we drop too many other points that Chelsea didn't? Not really, apart from those 2 games, which we can forget at the end of the season anyway. So I don't know if we did drop silly points, really. Did we drop silly points too? Apart from the early games when
City and United, but that was early, wasn't it? City and United was early.
Well, no, I mean, City at home, I don't think a draw at home to City is dropping silly points, is it? I think City are a good side. Man United away, we got a draw. Yeah, we could have won that game, we were leading, but they're not silly. They're not silly points. Dropping silly points are drawing with the likes of Leicester or drawing with Everton at home, which we did do.
Yes,
that was before Rene, but, I want to dismiss those results a little bit because they're not really relevant now. But yeah, next season we've got to be almost perfect, haven't we? We've got to beat Chelsea at least once, and we've got to pretty much win most of the other games. Let's be honest, if we're going to win the league. But which that's where we are with it. LG says, I think we need to beat Chelsea both home and away next season.
That's a fair point. Yeah, fair point.
That's the only way we stand a good chance of winning it. Well, I mean, obviously beating Chelsea home and away gives us a great chance of winning the league, doesn't it? Because that's 6 points in the bag already, and we've got 6 points back somewhere else. Beating them once and drawing with them, that still gives us 4 points over, and they've got to pull back somewhere else. So I think that I would be happy with 4 points against Chelsea, but it's how we do maybe in some of them other games that is going to maybe be important. We saw that the other year we got 4 points against Chelsea, and they still beat us to the league because we lost to Birmingham. So, and we drew with Spurs. Vicky says, Man City had injuries, so not a true reflection of their squad. No, I agree.
Sack the manager.
Yeah, they'll do better next season, I'm sure. Wayne says, league wasn't good enough, let's be honest. However, Champions Europe, we know what exactly, my friend. I think we all would agree with that. No doubt at all. Greg says, it's time to make hard decisions. We've got too many squad players and not enough starters to push on. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, actually. John says, LG, well, it's a better chance than beating them once. Well, absolutely, yeah. But it's not the only way. If we beat Chelsea and win the rest of our games, then we win the title. If we win every game, we'll win the title, won't we? Let's just try and do that, shall we? John says, it could come down to goal difference next season. Yeah, and we're capable of winning on that. Yeah, absolutely. We score more goals. There's no doubt about that. We score more goals this season. Candy says there, we won the Champions League, yes, but we need to compete with Chelsea now. We have to make requirements that can help us do so. 3 or 4 will do. But yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. LG says, I see your point, although we won the Champions League, if we don't step up to Chelsea,
they are dominating the WSL.
They start. Well, maybe we'll see. I mean, obviously, Sonia Bonpassa's got a great record in the Champions League, and Chelsea have got a great team. So you could be right, but let's see what happens. John says, Terry, it's just all doom and gloom. Terry loves it. Really. Terry says, dropping silly points aren't relevant. Tell Chelsea that. Well, yeah. John says, as Champions League winners, we can attract the top players.
We can now, yeah.
We replace aging players and players not at the level we need. Bring them in. Yeah, I mean, I think winning the Champions League is going to make a difference. But I think we're Arsenal. We've got the crowds. We've got the stadium. I think we could attract players. We have attracted players anyway without winning it. Now we've won it. We can obviously hopefully push on and go even more. I mean, the WSL season, and obviously we've come second, which isn't really good enough. But in the circumstances, I think we should be reasonably happy. How did you feel about the league overall?
Yeah, I mean, well, you look at the first 4 games, we were nowhere. You know, a manager who had lost the dressing room, as somebody said to me recently, he wasn't getting the best out of the players, was too overly emotional, and you know, he was gonna. I think he jumped before he was pushed. Really, I think otherwise, had he not resigned, he would have probably been. They would have. I don't know if they'd had the temerity to sack him, but moving on from now, from what Renee's done, I think she's done. You have to give her credit. You know, as you said, okay, we lost those away games to Villa and Brighton, lost narrowly to Chelsea, but she's reunited the fan base. She's got the best out of the players. She's been having these one-to-one sessions with them and improving the squad. And yeah, she's got a settled starting 11. Okay, yeah, maybe she could have played the likes of Rosa Kafaji a bit more, which would have been nice. But I think we're only a few signings away. I mean, the gap is 12 points, yes, but Leanne Sanderson, I was saying on the other day, made a good point on her podcast on TalkSport. Is it not podcast? But she said, yeah, 1 or 2 signings. Chelsea, yes, domestically, they can win all the domestic trophies they want, but they'll be sick of the sight of us winning the Champions League because, you know, all that money they've been putting into the club is to win the Champions League as well. And you know, the fact that we've won it is only going to spur them on even more. If we can make a few good signings in summer, I think we can. I think we can definitely close the gap and even pip them next season. So it's going to be crucial. But you know, from where we were at the start of the season, I think probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 is probably justified.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to be too critical because it's a different manager now than we had at the start. And had Renee been in charge at the start, who knows? We'll find out next season.
Yeah, exactly.
She's got a full summer. She's got a full season. So we'll be able to judge it more next season. But for me, I enjoyed the WSL season. Maybe because after 4 games, I'd forgotten about even winning the league because I knew he wasn't going to do it. So we just enjoyed the games for what they were, and we had some great performances. Scored lots of goals, played some great football. There were some amazing games during the whole season. So I don't want to be too down on it because we didn't win the league. We was never going to win the league after 4 games, so I've forgotten about it, and that maybe is why I enjoyed it a bit more. But anyway, let's do better next season. Obviously, we don't want to be sitting here next season having come second again or third or whatever. We want to be sitting here having won the league, and that's what we're hoping to do. Vicky says it was a poor WSL this season. It made Chelsea look better than they were. Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that point because they did sneak so many games. They didn't play particularly well, and they won the league without losing a game. And that kind of suggests that is the league as strong as it could be? Maybe that it does say that, or does it just say that Chelsea's mentality is stronger and gets them through those sort of games? It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I didn't think it was a bad season. I thought some of the weaker teams have stepped up. They put in better performances. Yeah. They look better. Even the weaker teams are stronger, and I think that's good for the league overall. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea have won the league without necessarily playing great for a lot of the games. But you know, it's all about wins and points, isn't it? And Chelsea deserve to win the league. We can't argue with that. No, didn't lose a game. Roll your hands up. Well done, Chelsea. Congratulations again. You've won the league. But we're coming for you. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, 100%. We're coming for them. Yeah.
Yeah. LG said 93 goals in 33 games under Renee is mental, considering we barely scored a goal under the Arteta clone. Yeah, I mean,
he's not a clone. He's not a clone, man. He's not a clone. He's not a clone. Man. Come on.
You say that right. There was I'll tell you what. There was an interview. I can't remember who it was with now. Obviously, this week, one of the Arsenal players. I can't remember which one it was now. There's been so many of them. Interviews all over the place with Arsenal players this week. I think it was one of the Lioness players. It might have been Chloe Kelly, I'm not sure. No, it wouldn't. It would have been someone who played under Jonas. Anyway, what the impression I had it anyway is Jonas was very sort of focused on the team shape and stuff like that. Very similar to Arteta, not very flexible. The players had to play a certain role. And what Rene's done is she's allowed them to have more freedom.
Yes,
and
100%.
that's why we've achieved the success that we've had. That's why we've had the results that we've had, because the players can play with freedom under Rene. They couldn't under Jonas. The men's team can't under Arteta, and that holds the team back. And it's almost like the team were being held back, and then suddenly Rene's opened the gates, and they've just gone whoosh and just gone for it.
Yes,
and that's been so great. And that's why I think I've enjoyed I've enjoyed most of the games this season for that reason, because they're not playing restricted anymore. We were playing restricted before, which got us some success. We won a couple of cups, fantastic. But we were playing with that, I know the old phrase, with a handbrake on a little bit. Under Rene, we haven't. The handbrake's off and we're away.
Oh, it's a handbrake's completely off, yeah.
It's been so enjoyable, and I've enjoyed it more for that reason. So I kind of agree with you. I think that's a good point. And like you said, 93 goals. Is that what it is? I haven't counted them all, but 93 goals.
It's a lot. It's a lot, yeah.
It is incredible, actually. So well done for Rene.
3 goals a game, yeah.
John's gone 7 out of 10 for me, but 9 out of 10 for the time.
That's a fair
Rene
point.
was in charge.
9.
I'd say, I think maybe 8. I think 9 would have to have been, I don't know, maybe those 2 defeats, although we've got excuses for them. Maybe without those 2 defeats, I would have maybe have said 9. But maybe an 8 for Rene and 7 overall, I think is where I am with it. Terry says, I want to win everything year in, year out, or at least compete for the last kick of the season, but we don't. And now we need to rebuild. Half this team need to be, what about half of them? Some of them do. As said, hi at all in England. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well in Sweden. Obviously, you'll be pleased with our goal scorer from last week, I'm sure, like we all were. Top talent brought in, says Terry. Absolutely, yeah, of course. That's what we need. We need top talent brought in, don't we? Ag says, what a match, England, Portugal. It was a great game, actually. Yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it? What a performance that was from the Lionesses. That gives us confidence about the summer, which we'll be looking at that later on in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, the domestic cups really disappointing. I'd give the domestic cups maybe 3 out of 10. The league, I'm going to give 7. What would you give the league out of 10, Andreas? You didn't give us a score for the league overall.
Yeah, you made a good point with 7 out of 10. I think, that's it. Maybe if we won both matches against Villa and Brighton, I would have said 8 out of 10, because we really made the best possible result. But these 2 games were really disappointing. And by all critics against Chelsea, we shouldn't forget Sonia Bompastor rotates her team on 7, 8, sometimes 9 positions from one week to another, and it's not easy for the players to gel together to find the structure. And this is also why they only win 1-0 or 2-1 all the time, because she rotates a lot. And we don't have the squad depth to rotate so much. But this is one point we must do next season. First we need a very good transfer summer to have a bigger squad.
4 or 5 players,
They must rotate more. I mean, she relies on the same 11, 12, 13 players all the time. And there are a lot of players who don't get minutes or only get a few minutes at the end of a game. So this must be better. And that's another point why I say 7 out of 10 for the WSL is enough. We could have done better overall.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely. I mean, we should be looking at doing better as well. I mean, second in the circumstances was okay, and a fairly decent result when you look at the start we had. But yeah, it's not really acceptable. It's not good enough for Arsenal to keep coming second or third. We need to start overturning those Chelsea titles, don't we? Somehow we need to find a way to do that over the next couple of seasons, really. Wayne says domestic cups this season reminded me of domestic cups under Arteta. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At one point when we got knocked out by Liverpool, I was like, even Jonas League Cup. But then, I mean, I think we all kind of felt that with the domestic cups, really. LG says 7 out of 10 in the league, 9 out of 10 overall.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair.
Yeah, I mean, we will have an overall kind of season at the end. Morpheus says, what's your guys' opinions on how we improve the team and the squad to win the league? Well, we just buy better players, don't we? Quite honestly,
Bring in younger players as well. I would say.
There's a few players that need to be moved on because of their age and what have you. And yeah, we need to bring in. Why don't we see if we can bring in 3 or 4 Marionas? That'll probably be enough to win us the league. A little bit easier said than done. But that's what we need. We need to buy some really good players, and if you buy, the more good players you have, the more chance you've got of winning leagues and winning everything else, haven't you? But we'll see what the summer brings us. Now, of course, that's the domestic cups and the WSL out of the way, so we've only got one more competition really to look at, and I'm not sure what we're going to talk about when it comes to this one, but I'm sure we'll find something. Well, I mean, what can you say? We've won it. We won the Champions League. That's enough. That's all we need to talk about, that week. But I mean, it was. I mean, we said it obviously the show before the final. What an incredible run it was for us to even get to the final in the first place. Starting in the qualifying rounds, almost getting knocked out by Häcken. Well, not almost getting knocked out, but losing the first leg against Häcken. And then, of course, starting the group stage with that terrible result and performance against Bayern Munich. So to end up in the final was a shock. But I mean, we haven't had a chance to talk about the final yet because we haven't had a show. So we might as well talk about it now, seeing as that's what we're on about. I mean, that performance in the final was it was breathtaking, and it was
stunning.
It wasn't just a brilliant attacking performance, and it was never going to be. We said, didn't we? I remember on the Friday show, someone said, "What tactics should we use?" And we all agreed, cross on his face, close them down, don't let them play.
Yeah, you did. You did say that.
That is what we exactly did, and it worked to perfection. And Renee, you know, she made some mistakes in some of the first legs in the knockout stages a bit earlier on. You know, we lost some games, and she maybe didn't get it tactically right. And in the second leg, she managed to turn it around. This time, she got it from minute 1 to pretty much minute 95, whatever it was. Yeah. Our tactics was just unbelievably spot on. And the way that every single player, the 11 that started, all of the subs that came on, every single player, I think Leah Williamson mentioned it, they played the game of their life. Oh, yeah. Every single one of them did. And it's like, you couldn't pick a player to match from that because every single one of them was player to match. Yeah. Incredible. Stunning. The performance was just incredible. The work rate, the way that we knew what was going to happen in that game. We had almost every single scenario and we had an answer for it. And that is fantastic planning. That is, yes, the players had to carry out and they were magnificent, but that is down to the planning of Renee, the coaching staff, and all that kind of stuff. The work that they did in the previous couple of weeks between the final league game and the final, that work that they did, that was just incredible. That was just amazing. And I think that one of the things that I think swung it in our favour as well is it meant more to us than to Barcelona because they've won it before. They expected to beat us. There's no doubt. They went exactly. It meant more to us. You could see that from the minute that first whistle blew to the minute the final whistle blew, that whole thing, it meant more to us. I mean, Andreas, obviously you was in the stadium, you'd have got a totally different perspective of it, but the performance was just wow. I mean, I can't believe how well every single player played all at the same time in the same game. Just incredible.
Yeah, it was just perfect. And maybe we wanted it more, or we only had to win, while Barcelona had to lose a lot because they were the top favorite. Everybody expected them to win. They themselves expected them to win, and you could see their reaction after the game. They couldn't believe what happened, and maybe it's what I said before in our show before the game. Maybe it's a little bit underestimating Arsenal because they have thrown Chelsea out of the stadium 2 times. 4-1 2 times, and then looking on the league table, they saw Chelsea is 12 points ahead of Arsenal. So this is a weaker opponent. This is maybe a few small points, 1% in your mind, and then our match plan was perfect. And I read that Renee and the coaching staff, they had a match plan presented to the team, and then after a few days the team came to Renee and said, we want to adapt a little bit, we want to play a bit more the Arsenal style. and not only react on Barcelona. And the coaching staff changed the match plan and discussed with the team again. And that's thumbs up for Renee and the way how she interacts with the players and how she respects their opinion. And for the match plan, you could see we wanted to prevent Barcelona from these small passes and coming into with passing. We wanted to play them wide and get crosses in, and how we defended all the crosses and corners was just fantastic, amazing. And as you said, it's difficult to pick a player of the match for us, but the performance from Leah Williamson was outstanding. I think I've never seen her better. Maybe at the Euros she was at this level, but in Lisbon she was everywhere in defense.
Unreal.
Tackles, she blocked balls. It was fantastic performance, and also the calmness from Kim Little in midfield against players like Anna or Alexia or Claudia Pina. You can't name them all. Fantastic performance from our midfield. And when you see the statistics, Barcelona had about 70% ball position.
Correct.
But ball position doesn't score goals. And we kept them out of our box for most of the time. You can't prevent players like Atana or Payor from being dangerous or having a chance. Yes, of course, they have their chances. But what impressed me most is that after the game, everybody said, well, Arsenal deserved the win. Yes. And my German friends, they congratulated me and said, well, you deserve this win. And that's the most fantastic thing. There is no discussion, and nobody can say, Barcelona was all over and the better team and they should have won, or the VAR decision,
no.
referee or something. No, it was we had the better chances over 97 minutes, and we deserved to win. That's 100%. Just unbelievable. Not only winning, but deserving to win against a team like Barcelona. Match plan, perfect tactics, every player on top. One more thing. Sorry for talking so much, but one more thing.
It's all right.
When Renee saw the pressure from Barcelona is growing, it was in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half. You could see we nearly kicked the ball only out of our box because there was no build-up play. Then she reacted and brought Stina with the instruction, make the runs behind their lines, behind their chains, and then for other players, bring the long balls to Stina that she can make the runs. So we changed a bit our tactics, or adapted to the situation, and that's one more thumbs up for Renee for changing and reacting in the game. I think she outcoached the Barcelona coach, and that's
100%. Yes.
All in all, it's just fantastic. And now I'm quiet. Let Omar speak.
It's all right. Carry on, mate.
You're absolutely dead right, and that was key to that game, because you're right. The start of the second half was a worrying time, because the first half I thought we dominated that game. We bossed it. We had all the chances to score. Obviously Frida's shot and the goal disallowed, and one thing and another. And Barcelona didn't really threaten too much. But the second half, they came out. They were much more on their game, wasn't they? Their passing was much better. They were moving the ball quicker, Barcelona, and we were finding it difficult to get it out of our penalty area a lot of the time. And I didn't feel we were hanging on, but it looked inevitable that Barcelona were going to score at some point. The way the pressure was mounting, was it? Their passing and stuff like that. But you're right. Renee saw what was happening. She had a plan in her mind already, I think, beforehand, for when the game got to that stage, because I think she would have anticipated that was going to happen. And then we made the change, and obviously it made the difference. Callum says here, and when it was 0-0 at half-time in the final, I was terrified. Funnily enough, I wasn't terrified until we scored. After we scored, I was terrified that they were going to score, and then we'd never come back and get another one. So I was more worried after we scored, funnily enough. But it was at 0-0. It was looking like we were hanging on a little bit for a while. But incredible. Vicky says, went to Lisbon to support the team. Never expected that performance. Superb. No, I don't think anyone could have expected that performance. It was just sensational. It was absolutely, it was just incredible. LG says that we need more Mariona DVDs and Fox type of signings. No more hurt. No, I agree with that. Yeah, you're right. That's what we do need.
A bit unlucky.
Top quality players. The more top quality players we get in, the better we're going to be, obviously. So yeah, of course, absolutely, that's what we do need. Wayne says, "Oh, it was tactically perfect." It was, yeah. We thoroughly deserved to win the game of football. So proud of them. And a bit of lady luck on our side. Yeah, a little bit maybe, but I thought we deserved that on the day, didn't we? But you're right. I mean, the way that we played, it was a performance to be proud of. You know, I think Chelsea won the domestic treble, and a lot of their performances, as we mentioned before, were quite poor. They were very fortunate to win a lot of games. It's difficult to, as a Chelsea fan, they're probably glad that they won everything, but were they really proud of the way the team played? I'm not sure very often. The way we played in that final, that was, for me, that was 100% pride in everything that we did. You know, and even if we'd lost the game in the end because Barcelona got a goal or two at the end, we would still have felt the same amount of pride for how we went and approached that game. We wasn't scared of them. We had a game plan. We believed in it. Every player trusted their teammate, and everybody went out and did their job and almost did it perfectly. I can't remember, maybe a couple of mistakes here and there. There was a defensive mistake at the beginning in the first half, wasn't there? Trying to play it out from the back and almost got caught out. And, you know, we did get a little bit fortunate at times, but we did deserve that. There's no doubt. And that's the one thing that I think will stick in all our minds forever is that the manner in which we played. You know, everyone will remember the result and the goal. Of course we will. But the result and the goal are overshadowed for me by how we played, because that was so impressive. That was so I can't even put into words how well that was, how good that was to watch. It was fantastic. It was nervy, of course it was at the end. The last about a week, didn't they? You know, when Barcelona were trying to get a goal back and we were hanging on and throwing everything in the way.
Oh my God! Yeah.
But what a fantastic performance it was from start to finish. It was so enjoyable to watch that game. And so, yeah, pride is the word. I think every single one of us feels proud of that team. Every single one of them players, the staff, the fans, everybody deserves all the credit that we've been given in this last week, and we're going to get throughout the summer as well. And, you know, all the players, when they went back to their national teams, the reception that they got from their teammates deserved that. Every single one of them deserved that because they were just magnificent. You know, and Renee deserves a lot more credit for what she's achieved at this club and what she achieved on that day as well, you know, managing that game brilliantly. I mean, Emma, it was just, it was astonishing.
Where do you start?
Wow. Where can you start exactly?
Honestly, I was not expecting that. You could see from the start she had it tactically spot on. I mean, you could name anyone from the match, but for that defense, Steph, Emily, Leah, Daph, anyone could have got. I don't know. It was just absolutely outstanding from minute one. You could see, apart from maybe the only shot that I can remember Daph had to save the whole game was a shot from Aitana in the second half. Otherwise, blocks from Steph. The block from Caitlin Ford when she had to run all the way across the pitch and deny Fridolina Rolford then falls over. That was absolutely hilarious. Couldn't believe what I was watching at times. And then, and then Steph, as I said, second half when can't remember who she denied, but I mean from minute one they were just they had nothing on. They didn't know what hit them. It's, as you said, they think they almost had this divine right. Oh, the trophy's going to be ours. We expect this to be a cakewalk, but no, they didn't come. They didn't expect to come into that Arsenal team with that kind of level of defensive effort. And you know, you're going to have to suffer against Barcelona. Everyone knows you're going to have to suffer at some point. If you try and play them at their own game, you're going to get absolutely wiped off the park. Just ask Chelsea. They got all that talent, but they don't really look at the defensive aspect, and that's why they conceded 8. This was a Barcelona side who'd scored in 41 consecutive matches. They'd scored, 2 or more in 11 games. They'd scored 19 in the last 3, and we made them. We completely nullified them. I mean, Iwa Payol was nullified. CGH was nullified. It was just unreal from start to finish. And it was at the end, you always felt one chance was going to be enough. And lo and behold, the substitutes did it with that sensational pass from Beth to find Stina. We could even have had more. You know, We had good chance as well to even extend that lead, but. As you say, the last 20 minutes, our nerves were frayed when watching inside the stadium. But at no point did we ever think, inside, with the other fans, but at no point did we ever think, we're going to concede, because you know, they could have been kept on going on, and they still would never have scored against us.
I kind of got that feeling, but I was just worried that they would. I was just nervous that they were going to. It was nerve-wracking, wasn't it, at the end? But obviously, you know, anyone that's watched this channel for the last couple of years will know what I think of Stina. and how important a player
Yeah.
I think she is. And you know, the fact that it was her that got the winning goal again, the second cup final in a row, that she scored the winning goal. And it just shows, you know, and yes, I've taken the criticism on board that people have said, you know, she does miss a few chances, of course. You know, sometimes her first touch isn't always fantastic, and all this, that, and the other. You know, I think all of those things are valid with Stina. But the one thing you've got to say is, throughout her whole career, she scores big goals in big games. She's done it throughout her whole career. When it matters, she gets the goal, and she got the goal again. And you know,
he's gone.
He's gone.
The way that I thought her first touch, funny enough, moved sideways away from the defence to create that little bit of space is all she needed. And then Beth obviously saw the pass, and then, you know, she managed to just fire it in. And that's exactly what Stina is all about. You know, it's exactly what she's all about. And
she was onside. And she was onside. She was onside.
Yes, she was onside. And, you know, when she's onside, you know, she's obviously a lot more dangerous. But I just thought that when she came on, she made the difference. She made the difference. You know, she almost got a goal before when she won the ball high up the pitch and ran through, and the goalie saved it with her legs. And then she got the goal as well afterwards. And she actually won the corner that the goal came from as well, by running in behind. You know, I know people have always said maybe Stina's not quite good enough, or this, that, and the other. And I don't know. I think that having a player like Stina in your squad, even if she's not starting every game, but she can come off the bench, that's how you win. That's how you win trophies, because she will get you goals when you need them in the big games, in the big moments, cup finals, semi-finals. She gets the goals in, and I was so pleased for her, because she's not been given enough game time this season. She's sat on the bench far more than she should have been the last 2 seasons, in reality. But she comes on and she makes an impact so many times. She hasn't sulked. She hasn't been.
Exactly.
You don't imagine she's knocking on the manager's door constantly. Why aren't I starting games? I don't see her doing that. She's accepted her role. She's worked hard, and when she's come off the bench, she makes a difference. And she made such a big difference in that game. And it's funny, isn't it? Because she's so shy. She doesn't want to do interviews. She was thrust into the spotlight over last weekend because of what she did, and almost like she didn't know how to react to it all. But she's fantastic. She's so humble. She's such a good player. And, she's just won. She's now won. She's scored in 3 cup finals in a row. The last 3 cup finals she scored in. And that tells you all you need to know about the player, about her mentality, her attitude, and the quality that she's got. And I mean, yes, I wouldn't have cared who scored the goal. I wouldn't have cared who it was. Manu Zinsberger could have come off the bench and scored a header. I didn't care who scored the goal, but the fact it was Stina just made it a little bit sweeter for me personally, just because of, I've spent the last 2 or 3 years constantly seem to be defending her when people have been criticising her, because I know how great she is. So that would have made it maybe slightly extra sweet. But I mean, Andreas, obviously Stina does get quite a little bit of stick sometimes, doesn't she? When she misses a few chances and she's offside a lot and this, that, and the other. But she steps up when she needs to, doesn't she? And what a goal it was as well.
Yeah, fantastic goal. And I think these 2 situations say everything about Stina. Her first chance, when she won the ball, and then she was faster than the Barcelona defender, and it was nearly 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and she had too much time to think. And in the situation where she scored the goal, she had no time to think. She got the ball, brilliant pass from Beth, and she had the ball, and I must shoot. I want to score a goal, and this is strength. If she has no time to think, she scores. If you give her too much time and the 1-on-1 situations where she runs to the goalkeeper, she doesn't score. But anyway, it doesn't matter. She scored the 1 goal, the winning goal, just fantastic. But don't forget, the pass from Beth was brilliant.
Fantastic.
Build up the situation where Mariona had the ball, the outline, and she could have made a quick pass, an easy pass, 2 or 3 meters. But no, she kept the ball. She kept quiet, watching, looking how the situation opens, and then she saw Beth and passed the ball to her. This build up is also part of the goal, and part of the whole game we played with a lot of we were quiet, we were calm, and thinking about where are the situations, where are our options, and that's that defines the whole game. I think this situation, Mariona, Beth, Stina, and then fantastic. But the last minutes, especially the 7 minutes of stoppage time, I thought we made changes. We took attackers or midfielders out and brought Lotta and defenders. So I thought if Barcelona scores the equalizer, maybe they will score second before the end or in extra time. It all speaks for Barcelona. So it was risky, but anyway, if you win, then the manager has done everything all right, and she subbed off good penalty takers with Chloe and Lassie. So if it goes to penalty shootout, but
you see, you can't think like that, can you? We're winning 1-0. You've got to do everything you can to see that game out. Bring on as many defenders as you can. Take off your attacking players. The right thing to do. Yes, if they'd scored, it could have backfired. Absolutely, it could have done. I was worried about that, thinking, if it goes to extra time, our attacking options are suddenly reduced by a lot, and then we're hanging on for penalties maybe. But you have to take them risks, and that's how you win. You win big trophies by taking risks. Yeah. And Renee took risks, and it paid off. And it deserves to pay off as well, because we deserve to, as we said, we deserve to win that game. And the risks were worth it, wasn't they? Vicky says, Andreas, if you want one of the Arsenal seat cards as memorabilia, I took home a spare one. She says you weren't the Arsenal fans, you didn't get one. Did you? Have you not got one of it?
No, I didn't get one. Yeah.
Vicky's got a spare one. If you want it, we can get that. I'm sure we can get. You can get a spare one. That'd be great. Wow, what a great! Thank you for that, Vicky. That's fantastic.
That's great. That's great.
Touch, deserves it, doesn't he? As soon as he went all the way to Lisbon to watch the game and didn't get one because he was in the neutral section. Well, that was quite near the Arsenal fan where you were, wasn't it? Sort of the next block along, wasn't it? Really, by the look of it, from the video.
I was nearly at the halfway line, and a lot of Barcelona supporters around me. There were more Spaniards, more Barcelona supporters than Arsenal supporters in the block I was sitting. But one thing I have to add, when the moment the final whistle came, the Barcelona supporter near me, he gave me a handshake and said, "Congratulations."
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. You wouldn't see this in a men's game, in a Champions League final. For the men's game. I could jump up and celebrate after we scored or after the final whistle. There are supporters from the opposition team around me. No problem in a women's game, and so a lot of credit and respect also to the Barcelona fans. They were absolutely did fair play, and it was great.
That's great.
No, that's what it should be about. That's what sport should be about. Yeah, we love our team. We want our team to win, and you're disappointed if you don't. But ultimately, you've got to accept that, the other team sometimes deserves to win and give them credit for that as well. We always try to do that on the channel anyway. But yeah, it's great that happened in the game, and it is good to see. But yeah, if you do want one of them cards, I think you can get that sorted for you, and that'd be good, wouldn't it? Because you probably deserve to get that. Ange says they underestimated Arsenal. Absolutely, they did. They did. LG says we have a team in Arsenal, and we've already beaten them. Leon worried us more. We look forward to our third consecutive Champions League title. Well, that's exactly the problem, isn't it? That's exactly the problem. You come unstuck, and they did come unstuck. And I have to say that's one. It's not the only reason, but it certainly didn't help them, did it? Wayne said, I've never seen Bobby Moore play, but from what I've seen, Leah is the female version. So I think I was a bit too young to see Bobby Moore play as well. But yeah, her performance in the final was amazing. Absolutely, it was. And she did a bit of criticism this season for maybe not quite being on it enough, making more mistakes this season probably than she has done previously since she's come back from her injury. But she was flawless in that final. Absolutely, she was pretty good for England the other night as well. Actually, so she's taken that high in, and hopefully she can do it throughout the Euro as well. Because England are going to need the captain, especially if Millie Bright's not going to be available. Wayne says, Rolfo says we made it easy for them. Did we make it difficult for them? Yeah, exactly. I mean,
we make
it easy for us, or did we make it hard? Probably a little bit of both, but we deserved it anyway. Greg says, lucky Stina has long legs. first time. Well, I don't think it was awful. It actually opened it up for her. She didn't. I don't think she meant it to go where it did, but it actually opened the goal up more, didn't it? And it gave her the space to fire it in, which made it even better. Wayne says our outballs were so good with Kim and Mariona. Yeah, they were. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why we won. LG says it was the first time this season I've seen Beth look sharp. She's been clumsy most of it. Yeah, I think everybody looked sharp though, didn't they? Everybody looked sharp in that game, and there's Katie McCabe had a few really poor games going into the final, but yeah, she was on her game, and they all were. And if you can't be focused on the Champions League final and you can't step up, then you're never going to, are you? Let's be honest. So, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They were all sharp though. I'm not going to pick out any one player really, apart from Stina, obviously, but the rest of them. Agnes says, I said we were going to win 3-2. You did actually. I remember that. I believed so much in this team. I felt people were giving Barcelona too much respect. Maybe this was because I only started supporting the women's team this season. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously Barcelona are a good team, but I mean, you did say we'd win, so you knew it right. So, well, I think you're the only ones that probably truly believed that we would. I think we all hoped, but I don't think we believed enough, did we? LG says that was the best Leah performance ever. Flawless, 10 out of 10. And this is coming from the one who's one of her big streets. No, that's fair play, yeah. And then, and I think you're right. She didn't have her best season overall. I don't think there's much doubt about that. But that one performance has made up for it all. She turned up as most of them did. What they all did. She turned up when it mattered. And again, she has a habit of doing that. Top players do, don't they? Top players perform top players perform all the time, but they actually perform when they have to in the big games, and that's what she did. And she's a great player. She is still world class, and she might be lifting another trophy in a month or whatever's time when the Euro final. Let's hope so. Greg says that the result was never in doubt, as I said before. Barcelona's never played a team like. I know you said that as well, Greg. Yeah, fair play to you, because you predicted you was confident of a win as well, which is great to see, isn't it? Matthew says, "Hola, good Rich and Pete. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you have enjoyed. I'm sure you have." And says, "I'll stick with Renee." Conversation. Yeah, she did have a conversation. She said that, didn't she? She did. Yeah,
she did. Spoke to Emma. Yeah, that's right.
You've got to get the information that you need to get. So she did the right thing, and it worked. Wayne says, "Have any of you guys watched the full 90 minutes?"
No, I haven't.
But I definitely will be. Will be nice to watch with. Yeah, I've watched the full game again. It was nice to watch it back without knowing, like you said, knowing the score, not having to worry. It was great just to see how well we played. At the time you're so nervous and you're so invested in it, you maybe don't appreciate how well we played really until you watch it back and you see it all again. You're like, wow, yeah, absolutely, definitely watch it again. You'll love it. Morpheus says Leah was amazing. She was amazing. Meg says Salty is Emma Hayes. Yes, it is Emma Hayes. Yeah, because she's so good. Morpheus says Leah was my. Yeah, well, anyone could have been, but yeah, Leah was brilliant. Absolutely, she did. I think she got.
It could have been anybody.
They gave one to Stina at the end for the goal and stuff, but obviously, she didn't play the whole game, did she? But there you go. But yeah, I mean, what are we going to give the Champions League out of 10? Then? What do we reckon, Andreas? What are you going to give it out of 10?
10. 11.
It can't be better than winning the Champions League. So we must give it a 10 out of 10. We played 15 games.
15 games, I know.
We are the first team which had to go through the qualifying from the mini tournament to the final. Yes. So yeah, there is nothing you can say that Arsenal didn't deserve it. We went the hard way, and we have beaten Barcelona and Lyon and Bayern Munich.
Real Madrid, Juventus,
Turin, all the champions, the domestic champions of Italy, Germany, France, and Spain. So yeah, it was nothing to say we didn't deserve it. So we went the hard way. We won it. We deserved it. So it's 10 out of 10 for the Champions League.
Yes,
I think everybody agrees.
It has to be, doesn't it? I mean, Emma, you're not going to change that. I'm sure you'll say.
Oh no! If I could give it 11, I would. But to go, yeah, I would. But yeah, no, to go from the qualifiers to go from lose 4 games and the comeback, the mentality. If you think I don't know, it's just extraordinary how they managed to do that. Group stage, lose 5-2, come back against Real, come against Lyon. These are big. These are the top teams in Europe as well. It's just It's just fantastic, and no one could have dreamt it. And not only does it mean that we are straight through to the league phase next season, we're also through to the International Champions Cup, which is a new event for 2026. So that's exciting as well next season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all exciting, isn't it? And to think, like you said, 15 games to win the Champions League, never happened before. And yeah, fantastic. I mean,
15 games,
just an incredible run from the disasters or apparent disasters at the beginning all the way through to the brilliant finale. Just an incredible ride, an incredible journey, and yeah, to get that finish was just more than we could ever have dreamed of a little while ago. So to get that finale to the season was fantastic. So I suppose we need to give the season overall then. Obviously we've won the Champions League, which was beyond our wildest dreams. The other 3 competitions maybe didn't quite go as planned. So what do you think the season overall deserves as a mark out of 10? Andreas, what would you say for the season as a whole?
That's difficult because this win of the Champions League stands above all, and it was the last game of the season, so our memories are fresh, focused on this game. But over the whole season, with the disappointment in the domestic cups, the bad start of the league, it's between 7 and 8, 7.5 out of 10 for all 4 competitions for us.
Well, okay. Well, okay. Fair enough. Well, yeah. Okay. I suppose overall, maybe that might be fair, actually. Emma, what are you thinking then for the season overall as a whole? What we've achieved and all this kind of stuff. What would you give it out of 10 for all the competition?
I mean, yes, it was the domestic cups when the league was maybe not as good as the Champions League. I think that certainly adds an extra mark for me onto the end of the season. Whereas maybe you're probably looking at 7 or 8. I still think I'd give. I mean, the Champions League to win that is at the pinnacle. I mean, nobody ever wrote us, no one gave us a chance at that. I think I'd probably give it 8.5, 9 out of 10 actually. Because just for that one reason, I know we say the domestic cups are important, the league is important, but from where we were to where we ended the season, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 if I've been honest.
Yeah, I mean, winning the Champions League is for any club side. It's the competition everybody wants to win. It's a competition that we're the only English club to win, and we've won it again. Yeah. And this time we've won it, I consider, properly now in the modern competition, which is obviously with the group stage or that kind of stuff. And it's for me, it's difficult to give the season less than 10 out of 10 because we've won one trophy that everybody wants to win, and we won it. And we've come second in the league, which isn't what we wanted, but it's actually all right where we started from. And yeah, the domestic cups were disappointing, and that's obviously not great. But if we hadn't won the Champions League, the season would have probably got a 6, wouldn't it? Or 5 or 6. Just for qualifying for the Champions League through the league and coming second. But to have won the Champions League in the manner that we did it as well, from being underdogs pretty much all the way through, I think it's got to be a 10 out of 10 season for me, because it's the one thing that we dreamed of doing that, and we've done it. We've achieved the one thing that everybody dreamed of doing. All the players would have dreamt of winning, apart from Mariano, who's won it every year, but everybody else would have dreamt of having that moment. The manager come in. The manager came in October. She came in October. She's not really managed at the top level before. She's had success in abroad, Sweden and stuff, but to win the Champions League in that short period of time, I think that's a remarkable achievement. It's a stunning achievement.
It's a stunning achievement.
Yeah, and Rene,
She needs to be given a statue, man. She needs to be given a statue.
Well, let's not get too carried away quite yet. But I mean, I think all of us maybe were a little bit underwhelmed when the club decided to go for Rene, as opposed to a big name who's got a reputation for winning big trophies. And I think we're all maybe thinking, have Arsenal maybe, I don't know, have we gone for the safe option with Rene, which is what it looked like. And I hold my hands up. That's what I thought. I know Terry's still not maybe convinced by Rene, but you have to say that the job she's done has been incredible, absolutely incredible. And it's how she builds on it now. Let's make it not a one-off. Let's not make it a fortunate, lucky competition that we got fortunate in. We need to build on it, and let's see what next season brings and going forward over the next 2 or 3 years. But you have to say that what she's done in such a short space of time has been just incredible. What a job. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant stuff. Vicky says, Rene sent an email to every travelling supporter to thank them for their support. Wow, did you do that? Really? That's incredible. I mean, I don't suppose she wrote them all, but That's brilliant. That Wayne says top class from Beth. Drag players towards. No, it was brilliant. Yeah, it was a brilliant goal. Morpher says they're standing under pressure. Mead is magic. Well, she can get her magic back. She played pretty well for England actually the other night as well, Beth Mead, I thought. So she got a goal and 2 assists. So she did all right there as well. So maybe she's getting her form back just at a good time for England. LG says even when we score, Rene was instructing players to focus because you were more vulnerable. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I felt. That's why when we scored, I was more nervous after we scored than I had been before we scored. But anyway, we saw it through, didn't we? And it was brilliant. Terry says class from the Barcelona fan, but Lordy, I want you to know you take the mickey out of him. It's you didn't do that. You can't do that. You have to
mutual respect.
Vicky says no problem. We'll keep the card until first home game next season. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. That brilliant.
Nice, that's fantastic. Nice class.
Greg says Moore was a midfielder. Didn't think he was good.
Really?
He was that good. He was a good captain. Well, I never really saw him play, so I can't really say that. But I mean, Leah Williamson's kind of a bit of a midfielder playing at the back, isn't she? But there you go. So Yvette says there, what about going forward? What type of players do we need? We'll talk about it in a minute, actually. 110 Volt says Leah is now a possible future England manager if she wants it. Yeah, maybe. Even future Arsenal manager, I suppose, more likely. But we'll see after Kim Little, maybe. Kim Little will be an Arsenal manager as well, I think, at some stage going forward. LG says, if I had to pick my top 3 player of the match, one Leah.
Steph would be up there. Steph would be up there for me.
I mean, I would pick all 15 that played, really, I think. But there you go. Right, so I think the season overall, it's a successful season. 3rd season in a row we've won a trophy. This was the big one. Couldn't get much better other than winning the league as well, I suppose, winning the quadruple. But I think we have to be satisfied with another successful season and what a finish as well. And a lot to look forward to. Ryan's gone.
7.8. Precise.
Well, we'll take that. That seems quite a good score. LG says another interesting stat. Since the group stages were introduced in 2021-22, all teams at top their groups made it to the semi-finals. Winning a group basically guarantees you a semi-final spot.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the stats there. John says 9.5 to 10 for me. Just a 0.5 knocked off for no domestic trophies. Maybe you're right, actually. Yeah, maybe 10 out of 10 is too much because we only won 1 out of 4. So that's maybe not quite good enough, is it? Even though it was the big one to win, I suppose. Greg says 15 games in the Champions League, 22 in the league, plus cup matches. Had a tough season, 8 out of 10. Yeah, funnily enough, I think didn't we not in total play more cup games than league games this season? Due to obviously possibly 15 games in the Champions League and the domestic cups as well. It certainly would have been pretty similar amount.
3 Conti Cup would have been, it's probably the similar, it's about the same.
Similar amount of games. That's mad that. Usually you'd expect your domestic league games to take out the bulk of your season and the cup games add a few more. But yeah, we actually had more cup games. Incredible. But it worked out pretty well for Sydney, didn't it? So we can't be too disappointed about that. Vicky says Arsenal allocated 10,000 tickets for the final. Barca expected to be there, so bought the neutral tickets, sold well in reaching the final. Yeah, I mean they probably did actually. Yeah. Ag says, Andreas, what do you think about Bayern Munich next year? Oh, are they going to bounce back? Maybe a bit stronger in Champions League?
Oh, they will have a strong squad, and they're about to strengthen it with Vanessa Gilles from Lyon. Oberdorf will be back, and
Stanway.
What to say? Back, she will play her first games for Bayern Munich. Stanway, Georgia is back. The defender Katrina Naschenweng from Austria comes back after a year out from injury. So they will have a strong squad, and of course their goal will be to be better in the Champions League than quarterfinals. Yeah, they are one of those teams who will be able to reach the semifinal in the Champions League, and then you see everything is possible. Nobody said Arsenal would go to the final, and Bayern is one of those teams competing for the title. But as we see with Chelsea, you can't buy this title.
No, exactly.
Bayern will have a strong team. Let's see. Of course, I'd like to have a final in Oslo, Arsenal versus Bayern, and
Yes.
Arsenal in this case.
Oslo. Didn't Alexander Strauss stand down?
Yes, he
He did, didn't he?
the job and took over San Diego or yeah.
Yeah, I think I can't remember who the new manager is for Bayern, but yeah.
And they have a new manager who's coming from Switzerland. He's a Spaniard, and he was coaching.
Okay,
I think
okay.
Servette, in
I can't think who's taken over Bayern, but yeah. Yeah, all right. Is he gone? Gone.
Oh, did we lose Richard?
Hello, is he there? Is he lost it? I don't know. Refresh. Let's just refresh.
Oh, are we back? Oh, we're back. Yeah, we're back now.
Yeah, it looks like we've
My
lost Richard.
internet's gone a bit weird. Anyway, I don't know what Amar keeps doing. It's nothing to do with Amar, is it? It's to do with my internet signal. But anyway, so we've gone through the season. Obviously, we can't really have dreamt of a better finish. And it was a good season overall, enjoyable football played. So it's going to be a good time, isn't it, to look at end of season awards. And there's going to be a lot of end of season awards that we need to give out. So let's start with one that, well, we'll see what everybody thinks, but let's go with this one to start with. So the goal of the season, of course, is always a good award, isn't it? We like to see some good goals. In the picture there, of course, I have Mariona's goal against Lyon in the semi-final, which I think got Champions League goal of the season. It's difficult to see much beyond that for me. That was a fantastic goal. What it meant at the time as well, such an important part of the game to score a goal like that, just amazing. So that would probably get my vote, but obviously we scored like lots of goals last season. There's lots of choices and lots of great goals as well. Andreas, what would be your choice for goal of the season?
Yeah, I prepared myself for these awards, and I have 3 goals of the season. Of course, it's Stina's goal in the final. It's the goal of the season. But the most important for me also is Mariona's 2-0 away at Lyon, because this made everything possible.
Yes, it did. Yes,
perfect moment to score our second goal to bring us the lead in Lyon. So this probably would be my choice. And the third one I've noted is Katie's goal against West Ham when she made the 3-2. Where you can't score, and she scored, and it was so important. If she didn't score this goal, maybe we lost to West Ham, and you never know how the season would have developed with a home defeat against West Ham. So this goal from Katie McCabe, also one of my 3 goals of the season.
That was a very good goal, actually. It was, and there was one Frida Marnham score as well. I think was it against Brighton at the Emirates when she
against Brighton.
That was a great goal as well, actually. Maybe didn't mean as much. It was in a game that we were winning comfortably, but it was a great goal anyway. I mean, Emma, what would be your goal of the season? I think it's difficult to see beyond Mariona's against Lyon, really, isn't it?
Mariona's against Lyon, Stina against Barcelona in the final. But if I had to give another couple of mentions to goals which were particularly underrated, I'd say Emily Fox's banger against Spurs in the North London derby. Then from outside, that was special. Top corner, all the way to cap off the derby by 5-0 against her. Made the celebration after. She said, "Look, she was in shock. She was disbelief though. She can have scored a better goal than that." Or another one that stands out is Mariona's goal against Liverpool, where she away from goal just takes it down with the left and just pings it in the top corner as well. That was another fantastic goal too. So, but I think. Go on. Sorry.
I said there's a lot of good goals this season. There was.
I would say, yeah, Mariona's against Lyon or Stina's against Barcelona for me.
Yeah, Terry's gone. Stina's gone in the final for me. It meant we won something. Well, exactly what the goals meant is sometimes more important than actually the goal itself. Maybe LG's gone 1 Mariona video. And yeah, I think that's for me. That's not only for the quality of the strike, which was amazing, top corner from outside the box, but as we said, the timing of it and what it meant for that game and overall the season. Because without that goal, we may not have got through that game, and we wouldn't be sitting here now having won the Champions League. So yeah, I think Mariona's goal against Lyon, it would be a deserving winner of that particular award. So well done to Mariona. That might not be the only award you win tonight, Mariona, by the way. Obviously. You never know. In fact, there's one that she could be in the running for this one as well, actually. So, of course, the best signing of the season, again, obviously Mariona is going to feature heavily, I'm sure. What a season she's had, incredible. Obviously, the picture there was of Daphne. I think that Daphne's been a fantastic signing for us, actually.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
The difference that she's made, and, you know, we sign a decent goalkeeper and suddenly we win a big trophy. It's not a coincidence, that, is it? We sign a world-class player in Mariona, we win a big trophy. So I think those two, for me, were difficult to choose necessarily. They're different type of players that do a different type of job, but they've both been important. But also as well, I want to give a shout to Chloe Kelly in January. Because I think she's been really good as well. Really, really good at signing for us. So, you know, we've had some good signings this season. I think we've done well, haven't we, in the market? I mean, Andreas, who would you say would be your best signing of the season? It's difficult to talk beyond Mariona, really, isn't it? Again, I suppose.
Yeah. You mentioned the three names. Yes, of course, it's Mariona, because she changed the way we play, and she brought the winning mentality, and
from Barcelona.
as I said, the way we play and the situation, creating the goal in the final. This sums up the whole way Mariona is playing, and what she instilled in our team. This calmness, this overview over situations, and then passing, and of course, she's player of the season in the WSL. So of course she's the best signing, followed by Daphne Van Domselaar, and and Chloe, whom you mentioned. Yes, I think she was the missing puzzle in Renee's tactics for the team development. So these three with Mariona outstanding.
Yeah, no, I think Mariona has to win that. I don't have much doubt really, but I say definitely been fantastic as well. Amar, who would you say is the signing of the season? I suppose it's pretty straightforward, really, isn't it?
It's hard to really disagree with what you guys have just said. I mean, she's just come in, sprinkled the magic dust in the midfield. I mean, her and Little, if you go back, a lot of I've heard in social media channels, they remind you all of like Xavi and Iniesta, and it's hard to disagree with them because they are pretty much like those two. They just have so much quality and class and composure on the ball. And so it's hard to look beyond Mariona. Chloe was my other one as well. Even though she hasn't got much game time, I think Jenna Neiswonga has not been a bad addition either. But hopefully she'll get some more time, and along with Kafaji next season. But it's got to be Mariona, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, actually, you're talking about sort of comparing. For me, Mariona is almost the women's version of Dennis Bergkamp. I think. Just
Bergkamp, yeah.
Yeah, in our team, I think she's almost
in our team. Yeah.
Good a player in the women's team. Obviously, I'm not saying that she's as good a player as Dennis Bergkamp was, but I mean, in women's football and stuff like that, it's that when we signed Dennis Bergkamp, we signed a world-class player, and he became even better when he played for Arsenal. And I think in Mariona, we've signed a world-class player who's got vision, who's got work rate, who's got all those great attributes that you need, can score great goals. To me, she's been the most important signing of Arsenal made probably since Dennis Bergkamp in terms of quality of the player that we've brought in. And it's difficult to argue with Mariona being the signing of the season. I said she might win a few. I think she might win a few more yet. What shall we go with next? Why don't we go with something that Mariona's probably not going to win? We'll go for the. Now, this award for the most underrated player was an award picked by Paula because she said we need to have an underrated player award. So I thought that's quite a good idea. And I'll put the picture of Caitlin Ford because that was who Paula had picked, Caitlin Ford.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I think Caitlin Ford is brilliant, and she doesn't think Caitlin Ford gets enough credit. And I kind of tend to agree with her to a certain degree because Caitlin Ford has had a fantastic season. She always gives 100%. She works so hard. She's got quality. She's scored a lot of goals. She's created a lot of goals. And I kind of like that award, and I like the fact that Caitlin Ford was mentioned in there. I think obviously Stina needs to get a mention for being underrated. I think that's quite obvious. And I think Frida Marnham as well is coming for a bit of criticism. She's always in the team. She plays every game. She scores lots of goals. But my personal vote would go to Caitlin. Well, Paula's vote actually would go to Caitlin Ford. So that's who we're going for. I mean, Andreas, who would you say is our most underrated player of the season?
Yeah, I hoped you wouldn't say Caitlin on my sheet. Yes, the way she plays, staying out on the wings and trying again and again. Someone said she must be nervy for a defender because she never gives up. She always tries. She comes again. She comes again. And I think she was very important in this season. Yeah, right from the start, from the mini tournament where she scored a hat trick against Rangers, or was it 4 goals against Rangers? Yeah, it was very important. Yeah, so I agree with you. I have a second name here, a player which got a lot of criticism in the first half of the season, Kim Little, and I have to apologize to her because I criticized her and said she lost her legs. And then if you look how she played in the games Madrid, Lyon, and the final, fantastic. She was at her 35 years of age, and therefore a bit underrated in most part of the season. And as I said, apologies from my side. She had a fantastic.
I don't apologize. It's fine, man.
She's a great captain, so let's mention her in this category too.
Yeah, no, she probably goes. I mean, I think it was mentioned during the week, wasn't it, that she maybe goes under the radar a little bit sometimes anyway, Kim Little, doesn't she? But you're right, she didn't have a great first half of the season. Was she carrying an injury? Well, I'm not sure, but certainly the way she's finished the season, she's been magnificent. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, definitely deserves a mention there as well. But I certainly think Caitlin Foord may well win this. I mean, Emma, what would you say our most underrated player has been this season?
I would say Caitlin was also good. If there was a most improved category as well, I'd put her in that. I mean, underrated as well. You look, Steph, how she stepped in for when the defense has had its issues. She stepped in to be a fantastic centre back as well. She doesn't get anywhere near enough credit as she deserves. How good was she in the final as well? Well, Emily Fox would be another one. I mean, she's just stepped in and just. I know people were saying, "Oh, Laura Wienreuter was a bit unlucky," but she's made that position her own. And I would say, Emily Fox doesn't get enough credit for what she deserves as well. So it's hard to look beyond that. But yeah, you could throw in a few decent names there.
Yeah, I think there are quite a lot of our players that I think are quite underrated actually, because we've got a few sort of superstars is not necessarily the right word, but we've got a lot of players who are very popular with their fans. Like Leslie Russo is very popular, Katie McCabe is very popular, and you know, sometimes some of the other players don't really get a mention much, do they? Because they're not maybe those big name players that are so popular with the fans. So I do think we've got quite a lot of underrated players actually. But yeah, Caitlin Foord for me doesn't get enough credit for how good she's been this season.
Yeah, fair enough.
So LG says there, Frida for underrated. She's only missed 2 games since her debut in 2021. That's true. Yeah, she has. Yeah, the best ability is availability. Well, that's true. Yeah. 86 games played out of 88 possible. Exactly. That's
impressive. Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, she's our Iron Lady. Well, she is. Yeah, you're right. She doesn't. She's always available. She does get a lot of criticism, maybe, and I don't know, but I like Frida, and yeah, she's maybe another one that quite underrated as well for what she brings. I say she scores a lot of goals, so yeah, but I think Caitlin probably deserves that one. So well done, Caitlin. Is there another award that we can find that maybe Mariona's not going to win? She's going to win most of them. She's probably going to win most of them, let's be honest. What should we? So this one here. I mean, Mariona can't win it, but I think we all know what the answer is going to be. But we'll give it anyway. I mean, I think if anyone votes for any other game in the final, then I don't know what to say really. I mean, that's obviously the winner, isn't it? But if we forget the final for a minute, you know, there was some other great games this season, and I know the final was going to win. We know that. I really enjoyed obviously the West Ham game was exciting, wasn't it? Coming back from 3-1 down to win the game, scoring 3 goals in about 5 minutes was good.
Manchester United.
Away, we won 4-3 there. That was a great game, wasn't it? You know, some of those big 5-0 wins at home. They were some great games as well. So we've had a lot of good games this season, now, let's be honest. But I mean, Andreas, if we forget the final a minute because we know that's going to win. What other? Obviously, most of the Champions League games probably are going to get missed. I expect the semi-final and stuff. And
Madrid, Lyon, take your pick.
I mean, Andreas, what games would you look at as say the games that you maybe were the best games this season that we can enjoy the most? Really?
As you said, nothing can beat a Champions League final, but of course the away game at Lyon, amazing. and those which I attended personally, the quarterfinal home against Real Madrid was fantastic, especially the second half. The thrilling atmosphere at the Emirates, and the goals, 3 goals in 20 minutes or so. But also the WSL game against West Ham at Meadow Park. Not good for the nerves, 1-3 down and then 4-3 winning. And another game at Meadow Park, the 3-2 against Bayern Munich.
Oh, yes.
That was a great game. You're right, actually. That was a really good game.
Yeah, this game made our path for the final possible. If we didn't win this, we finish second and maybe face Lyon or Barcelona directly in the quarterfinal, and you don't know how everything would have developed. So this was very important under the worst circumstances with pouring rain and wind. So not to forget this, but from the WSL, I would say the West Ham game. This game, to win this game, showed the mentality and resilience of the team. So we have to mention this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, LG said the City away 4-3. That was another game we had to come from behind, didn't we? And we were in front, and then we got pulled back and stuff. So that was another great game. There's been so many really, but I mean, any other games that kind of stand out for you? Obviously, there was a lot of good games this season. That's a good thing, really. It's good that there's a lot of good games.
I mean, the draw against City first game of the season was pretty good too, and then you had that 4-3 win away. You also had the wins of West Ham. The final game of the season, even nervy, even though we're 4-1 up, we held on to beat Manchester United 4-3. But I think just the run to the Champions League was great. Whether it be the comeback against Madrid, the comeback against Lyon, but it's got to be the final, hasn't it? It's got to be.
We know the final was going to win that anyway. It was obvious, but it's a good opportunity to maybe look at some other great games as well, which we did. So that was good. But obviously, there's only ever going to be one winner of that particular award, wasn't there, really? What shall we look at? Why don't we maybe change track just a little bit? So the biggest disappointment, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a match necessarily. It could be a player. It could be anything, really. That was the most disappointing thing. I know the picture there was obviously Chelsea celebrating the win at the Emirates, which was obviously a big disappointment. I mean, it's quite... For me personally, I think the biggest disappointment for me was losing at Chelsea away, because at that time we knew if we'd won that game, we could have been back in the title race. The way that we lost it, with that penalty right there at the end and all that kind of stuff, and obviously getting Katie sent off, that was probably a big disappointment. But from a personal perspective, the biggest disappointment for me was not being in Lisbon. And that's my biggest disappointment.
Come on, Richard, come on.
That's just, because it would have been fantastic to have been and experienced it live. But I mean, Andreas, what would be your biggest disappointment of the season?
Yeah, overall, not being able to compete for the league title, and very early out of the title race. But for special games, I have 3 here. It's the 0-0 versus Everton. This was...
Oh God, I was there for that as well.
No, I don't want to be reminded of this game. The 1-0 defeat at Meadow Park against Liverpool in the FA Cup was something really disappointing. And then, not to forget the 5-2 defeat in Munich.
Yes.
This was... Next time we play in Munich, I have to buy a ticket in the Arsenal section, because sitting all the Munich fans celebrating, I don't want to have this again. So
wear your Champions T-shirt as well. Wear your Champions T-shirt.
If we play next season, that's what you've got to do. But no, I mean, in the end, the Bayern game at the time was disappointing, but in the overall scheme of it, I suppose it's not so disappointing now looking back, is it? It's like the defeat at Madrid in the first leg. That was really disappointing, but no one cares anymore because we won it. At the time, it was. The Bayern Munich away game, that second half in particular, that was probably the worst 45 minutes of football I can remember. It was terrible. But in the end, I say it didn't really matter so much. It didn't matter. And luckily, there wasn't a lot of disappointments this season, thankfully, on the pitch at least. Anyway, Emma, what would be your biggest disappointment in this season?
I don't. I mean, I'm going to change tack slightly and say, oh, Vic Palova's injury was very disappointing because you see what she brings to the team when she came on and scored against Leicester as well. You know, to have such a influential player shows that we have a bit more depth in that position now as well. And yeah, I think if she stays fit, I tell you, we could be frightening going forward next season with 1 or 2 signings. So as long as she stays fit, you know what she brings to the team. That goal she scored against Leicester was class, and to just hope for one season we can have a where no one suffers that dreaded ACL injury. And you know what she brings. She's great. She links up well with the team. She gets on well with Leslie especially. So saying if she that was disappointing not having her available until April or so. But if she stays fit next season, then watch out the rest of the league.
No, that's a good point because I mean, obviously, we did miss her, and I thought we were going to maybe miss her more than we actually did. But that's not because of her; that's more because of the way the team played anyway. But yeah, you're right. That was a disappointment because she was playing so well last season, and she's such a good player. And it was frustrating that she couldn't play much of the season, and she missed out on that whole kind of Renee kind of style of playing, which she didn't really get to play in. But hopefully she'll be back stronger, as we said, next season. But yeah, that was disappointing, actually. Yeah, that was a big disappointment. But yeah, I think maybe just not being able to challenge for the league more. LG says a 5-2 away to Bayern. The manner, that we lost. You've described. Yeah, you're right. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. Greg says Manu in goal. We had our biggest defeats when she was in goal. Yeah, I mean that's true. We did have our biggest defeats when she was in goal, but you know. But there we go. Terry says every game we didn't win. Well, yeah, every game we didn't win is disappointing, yeah, of course. But you know, some are more disappointing than others, aren't they? Ag says losing to Chelsea, losing to them twice as well. That's really not great, is it? LG says Zinsberger was horrendous this season. That's a disappointment.
I don't know if it was horrendous, but
funny thing was, and I was laughing about this the other day. I shouldn't really be laughing about it, but there were scenes in the dressing room after the game and at the parade, and Manu's dancing around. I'm thinking she moves quickly when she's in goal. There's choices to go. She can't move her legs, and yet she can dance like that when we won the trophy. Come on. But yeah, I mean her performances were disappointing. Absolutely. The Arsenal fans trying to convince Renee is the one who's very disappointing. Well, she did win us the Champions League, so I think we can kind of understand that really. But yeah, I mean, luckily there's not loads and loads of disappointments this season, but there's enough to.
What about? Can I just throw another one in there? What about in the dressing room when Katie slid on the floor in the dressing room and she didn't actually drink any of this stuff?
Oh yeah, that was quite funny. Yeah, she was funny at the parade actually.
Oh, she's too good. Oh, that was hilarious. I'll never forget. She dropped in the F-bombs and all that. It was brilliant.
She was funny. She was funny. LG says all the 4 games we lost in the Champions League, Manu was in goal. Yeah, I mean she was in goal for most of our bad defeats. You're right, but anyway, come on. I mean, you know, she just won a Champions League medal, so you know we can't be too hard on her. Why don't we look at? I mean, I've kind of slightly changed this award a little bit. I was going to call it like the sort of player that kind of shocked us the most, but I've kind of sort of changed it a little bit. Because that was kind of what I meant, really. A player that kind of surprised us in a way. You know, and I think for me, Katie Reid, when she came, she played a few games pre-season. When she's come into the team at 18 years old, you know, I think she's been phenomenal, really. And she's got a great career ahead of her. And I was kind of shocked at how quickly she adapted to playing in the first team, you know, and all her qualities and stuff. I know she didn't play much, but when she's played, I think she's gone over and above the expectations that I expected of her this soon in her Arsenal career. So, you know, it shocked me, not in a bad way, it shocked me in a good way. And hopefully she can push on. And you know, we've got 1 or 2 others. Obviously, Michelle Aubameyang is going to be back with us next season. So she could be a good one to look forward to next season. So, I mean, you know, Andreas, what would you say for that? I mean, I didn't necessarily mean shocked in a bad way. Well, you can use it that way if you want, because that was kind of how I put it in the beginning.
No, if you define it this way as shocking in a positive way, I can only agree with it. She is a prospect and a big talent, and if we play her and give her the minutes she deserves, then she will be a lioness in the near future. She has everything, and she's tall. She could be she could solve our aerial problems, and she had she had a very good first season and got minutes in the league, in the Champions League. So yes, I agree with Katie Reed. And another one is Kyra Cooney-Cross in the first half of the season. I'm a bit sad that she fell out of the team and didn't get minutes in the last games, in the last months. But in the first half of the season, she had really her breakthrough and showed how good she is, how important she can be for the team. So this is a name I would mention here as a positive shock.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. LG said, I disagree with Katie Reed. I haven't seen anything special about her. The Villa 5 game show, she's not really. Yeah, but she's playing at right back. She's not a right back, she's a centre back. So you can't judge her in. She's 18 years old, playing in a position that's not her natural position, a slightly weakened team, if you like, that wasn't focused on the game. I don't look on that Aston Villa game. Anyone who played in that game, I'm not going to judge him on that one performance. Yes, she didn't play well in that game, but nobody did. But she was out of position. When she's played in her proper position, she's looked really good. And I want to see her develop there because, as Andreas says there, we've got maybe there's a problem there that she can solve with qualities. But yeah, and I think for England, you've got, Esme Morgan was playing centre back the other night.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Katie Reed's a better player than her right now, but I think she's got much more potential than Esme Morgan. So yes. I think she's going to be a great player, Katie Reed. I really do, and she's got a great mentor in Leah Williamson as well. And don't look on that Villa game. Don't judge her on that Villa game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair because one, she was out of position, and two, the team were all over the place around her. She's a young player. She needs some guidance and some help. She didn't have it in that game. She was exposed in a position that she's not comfortable and natural in. So I'm prepared to give her the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, if she starts playing like that more regularly, then no, I'd agree with you. But let's not base it on that. So yeah, Emma, what would you say would be the winner for that one then?
That's pretty tough to disagree again, isn't it? Yeah, she's shown that she can come in. She's a good young player too that can fill in the roles when she's needed. So yeah, it's hard to think. It's hard for me to go with anybody else. So yeah, I would say Katie Reed as well.
A few people said someone said Rosa Kafarji actually disappointed.
Didn't get enough.
Disappointed me. Yeah, she disappointed. She didn't get enough game time, but when she did play, she disappointed me. I just didn't think she was very good. She was weak. She lost the ball a lot. I don't know. Her attitude didn't seem quite right. So I'm disappointed with Kafarji, but it's her first season. She's young. She's adapting. We'll maybe excuse her this one season, but she's got to do better next season. There's no doubt. She's got to step up and do better. 170 Gunner says that Demornay as a striker, Russo number 10. I was looking ahead to next season. Well, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Demornay. I don't know about that. Yeah.
Well, that's going to happen. Let's be honest. I'm not sure that's going to happen. But we shall see. LG says, I would say Chloe surprised me. I thought it was a Sterling-like signing. Really? Okay. How she got up to speed so quickly after lack of game time at City, really shocked. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was shocked. I've always liked Chloe. I've always known she's a great player. But you're right, she hadn't played much, and potentially it should have maybe took her longer to adapt, and it didn't. She was straight in and hit the ground running. So yeah, no, that's a fair shout actually. To be fair, yeah, that's maybe a good shock as well, isn't it? But no, yeah, that's a pretty good shout actually. Right, let's have a look at something that maybe a little bit more general in women's football as opposed to Arsenal particularly. But let's have a little chat about it. So next season, and if we could change one thing about women's football next season, what would we want to change to hopefully make it even better? Andreas, what would you change about women's football right now?
Oh, I don't want the VAR in the goal line technology. Yes, if we can implement this, and I want WSL with 14 teams, not only with 12, but not skip relegation or something like that.
Yeah.
But pretty soon we should have 14 teams and at least one or two relegation places.
So yeah, true.
You change
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that's probably the biggest change that needs to happen quickly, doesn't it? The two up and two down and expanding the WSL. It has to happen. And yeah, my big thing is VAR. I don't want to see VAR in women's. I know people will say, "Oh, well, look at the bad decisions." Yeah, but I don't care. I'd rather have bad decisions than have VAR ruining the game like it has in the Premier League. So the one thing I don't want is VAR. So please, please, please do not. It's going to happen. Inevitably, it will. But yeah, but I agree. Yeah, let's make sure that we expand the league and have two up and two down at least. That's got to be the way forward. It has to be, doesn't it? It's got to be. The other thing I'd like to see as well is to make the fixtures not clash with the men's team. That's not just for Arsenal.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Don't have the women and the men's teams playing at the same time. Don't even have them playing on the same day. Because some people want to watch them both. Some people want to go to both games. So it's a Saturday and it's a Sunday. If the men's game's got to be on a Sunday, fine. Play the women on a Saturday and the other way around. Don't put them on the same day. Try and look at that a little bit more. Maybe it's going to have to happen sometimes, but try to be a little bit more understanding of the fact that some of us like to watch both games and some people want to go to both games. Let's make that possible. So that's another thing they need to look at a little bit more as well. Emma, what would you want to change about the WSL or women's football in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say you say about VAR. I mean, VAR was actually all right. It still takes its time in the Champions League, but it sometimes more often than not. I know we still complain about it, but I still wouldn't introduce it just yet, even though they've said about maybe doing it in a lesser form. But I think one thing that I've seen that's been bandied about is appointing more full-time referees, because you still see some really poor decisions being made, and it's hard to. It's not, whilst you're not going to completely eliminate bad decisions out of the game. It's part and parcel of the game. We need to train have more full-time referees, and then that in that way, then we can have less controversy and more consistency going forwards. I would say. So yeah, I would say the appointment of more full-time referees.
Well, I think improving the standard of the referees
standard as well, yeah, that would be more full time. Yeah.
And whether that's making them full time, I don't think full time referees in the Premier League have made them better necessarily. Yeah, we need better referees. Absolutely. Ryan says, "Stop Chelsea winning it." Well, benefits of women's football, but we can do that ourselves, can't we? We can stop that happening by beating them. LG says, "What I would change is to bring back the old WSL logo. The new one looks like it's the World Surf League." Well, I don't know what the World Surf League logo looks like, but maybe you're right. Greg says, "Not having Chelsea supporters
that's hard. That would
be a big help, wouldn't it?" 107 volts says, "Ian Wright at least one Arsenal game." Can you imagine? Ian Wright commentating on a game? It'd be mad, wouldn't it? It'd be crazy. It'd be quite funny though. Yeah, maybe get that on. Yeah, that would be good. But let's see. Terry says the refs. Well, yeah,
100%.
Just that really would be good, wouldn't it? So yeah, right. Okay, so we've got 2 awards left. We have got 2 awards left, and actually, well, we've got 2 awards, and then we've got one other thing at the end. But right, let's start with this one because again, it's probably going to be a different kind of part of this. But anyway, this is what we're going to go for. So the moment of the season, there's been a lot of moments in the last week, actually. Pick one moment of the season is going to be quite difficult. I say in the last week, we've had obviously the goal that Stina scored was a great moment. Lifting the trophy was a great moment. Obviously, just the Katie McCabe celebrations at the parade was quite a moment as well. I mean, obviously, most of the moments are going to have been from the last week, but it's been a season of moments, actually, hasn't it? Let's be honest, it has been. I mean, Andreas, what's been your moment of the season?
Nothing can beat winning a Champions League, as I said. So the moment Kimi lifted the trophy together with Leah is of course the moment of the season. But to mention one maybe unpopular moment of the season was Jonah's retirement and the appointment. It's
resignation. Yeah.
Of the season that changed our whole season. So
it did, yes.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned this Jonas' retirement, Renee's appointment. Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair point actually, because that did change the whole kind of momentum of the season, didn't it? So that probably was, in a way, that was probably more an important moment in the season than the final. What happened in the final? Because without that change, then without that happening, the final probably wouldn't even have existed for us. So, you know, yeah, that is probably a more important moment, actually, thinking about it. So maybe that should actually win, because that shaped the rest of the season. I hadn't really thought of that as being the moment of the season, but actually that's a really good shout. And I kind of think that is probably the moment of the season, actually, when you think about it. Terry says it can only be Stina's goal unless Rene Arteta is on. Yeah, but the season's finished now, so that would be next season's moment, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, Stina's goal was an amazing moment. Yeah, lifting the trophy was an amazing moment. All the celebrations around that was an amazing moment, really, wasn't it? So we've been spoiled this last week, haven't we? Let's be honest. I mean, Emma, obviously, we know that the final is probably going to be most of the moments of the season. But is there anything else that stands out for you this season?
I mean, really hard, isn't it? As I said, Vic Polo coming back from an injury was great as well. So yeah, I mean, that was a great moment. Having the players, Chloe Kelly coming back and saying she rejuvenated herself as well was another great moment. But yeah, it's hard to beat Rene's appointment, and of course winning the Champions League. It doesn't really get. I suppose the moment where we all began to believe it was possible was a comeback against Real Madrid. So yeah, I mean, there's all moments thrown into one there. So
yeah,
I'd probably say that's when we began. That was going to probably began to believe that maybe something special is possible here.
Yeah, actually, that comeback against Real Madrid was a big moment. Yeah, I think that was a big moment, because, you know, we were on the brink of going out and we came back, and that gave us the belief that we could go on and do something special. So, yeah, no, that's a fair point as well, actually. 107 Volt says...
Viking P. Viking P.
Vicky P. Return. Yeah, the response you got from the fans, that was great as well. Agnes says, yes, Jonas' resignation is the moment of the season. Yeah, and I think that's probably right, actually. I do. The more I think about that now, the more I think of how important that was. But there's actually one moment that probably tops it all, actually. You know, it tops winning the Champions League, it tops everything else. And that was, I think, Greg's appearance in the vlog of Andreas. The first time Greg appeared in. I think that's probably been at the moment of the season for me.
I also think Andreas is singing as well.
That's the moment of every season. That's not the season, is it? But yeah, all the matches in the Champions League turn it around to victory. Yeah, obviously. Greg says the final. Yeah, the final was a great moment, wasn't it? To be fair. Yeah. That was more relief, though, wasn't it? That was just relief. It was excitement. It was everything all in one, wasn't it? Every single emotion that you can have, pretty much in that second that the final whistle blew, which we've been begging for the previous 25 minutes. But yeah, the final whistle was a great moment as well, actually. But don't do yourself down, Greg. Your appearance on the vlog, it tops all of it. It does. It tops all of it. So the final actual award then is going to be the one we always do last every season, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of debate about this one this year. Now, I was going to put a picture of Manu Zinsberger there for this particular win. So in the end, I decided to go for the safe option and stick a picture of Mariona on there, because obviously I don't think there's much doubt that Mariona has been our player of the season. She's been the WSL player of the season. She's been the Champions League player of the season. She should win the Ballon d'Or. So I don't think there's much debate about it, really. But, you know, so she's going to win it. I don't think there's much question. But, you know, I think one or two other players have had decent seasons. Obviously, Leslie Russo, top scorer. Yes. She's had a great season, pushed on from last season as well. So I think, you know, she needs a mention. The way Kim Little's turned it around as well. I mean, whether she's quite had enough to be player the whole season, probably not. But she's certainly had a really big season as well. Daphne as well, of course, what a season she's had. So, yeah, we've got a few runners up, if you like. But I think, obviously, Andreas, only one winner of this award, isn't there, this year?
Yeah, the question you both should have been, who is your player of the season and why is it Mariona? There's no Mariona is our player of the season. By Leslie Russo, who had a fantastic season with scoring important goals, and the way she works for the team and does her work rate. She's very close to this title, and as everybody says, Mariona or Leslie Russo, I would say, why not Daphne van Domsela? If we haven't signed Daphne, our season would have been totally different. And the way she came into the team and she performed, and you saw how important she is. She played away at Lyon and the final with not being 100% fit or healthy. She was under painkiller injections, and now she resigned for the Dutch national team because she's not 100% fit. That everything that she was not 100% fit for the final, and we played her because we need her. So this shows how important she was for the whole team. So yeah, say Daphne or Leslie, but of course you can't beat Mariona. She's outstanding, and she changed the whole way we are playing. And yeah, if a player wins a player of the season in the WSL, of course she's season for Arsenal. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's no coincidence, is it, that you sign a world-class player and suddenly you win a big trophy. You win you sign a player who knows what it's like, what it takes to win, and is a winner, and it translates into the team and has brought a different mentality, I think, as well to the place. And what I like about Mariona, apart from the fact that she's just an amazing football player, is the fact that she isn't sort of ahead of herself at all, is she? She's really down to earth. She seems very humble. Her interviews are quite funny. She seems like she's got a good sense of humour. She seems very popular amongst the other players as well. And, you know, I think that she's been a breath of fresh air, actually. I must admit, when we signed her, I'm thinking, you know, she's getting on to 30. Is she going to adapt to the WSL? I don't know why. I had this impression of her being quite up herself and stuff like that. I don't know why, just the impression that I had. And she's completely the opposite of how I imagined her to be. And the way she's settled in, she's become the heartbeat of this team. And in your first season to do what she's done is incredible. So, yeah, obviously Mariona is definitely the player of the season. LG says, imagine if Jonas got sacked at the end of last season, Rene would have probably gone too because they would have brought in another manager to start the season. No, I think you're right, yeah. So there would have been no Rene and no, well, I don't know if there'd have been no Champions League, but it would have been no Rene. You may be right, actually. That's a good point. Agua says Zinsberger picture would have crashed the channel. Yeah, probably would have done, yeah. Especially for player of the season. Agua says Mariona would go on to win the Ballon d'Or at the very least. Make the progress. She should win it. I think she should win it, yeah. LG's gone 1 Mariona, 2 Russo, 3 Kelly. Without her, we wouldn't have won the Champions League. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair top 3, actually, really. Yeah, difficult to argue with that. I think Caitlin Ford's had a good season, actually, as well. We mentioned it before. Terry says, you should have had a what's that?
A swear at
the TV moment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we should have done. Actually, for a laugh, really. Matthew says, need more like Mariona in every. Well, there is. I don't think there's players as good as Mariona in every position, is there, in the world available? But anyway, Vicky says, if Spain wins the Euros, yeah, might be what comes down to actually. LG says, I remember under Jonas, we questioned if Mariona had disrupted our team.
Yeah,
that's right. We did say that, didn't we? How wrong were we? We've been wrong about a lot of things, actually. And Rene knew what she was doing. Jonas knew what he was doing when he got her in. So, yeah, obviously, our player of the season, there's not much doubt, is there really?
No. I mean, you could throw it to any one of those 11 for the players' performance in the final, but across the season, as I said earlier, she's sprinkled the magic dust. She just added another dimension and layer to our attack. She just brings all that experience. It's got to be Mariona, hasn't it? She's just phenomenal, and she could still even get better alongside Kim in that midfield. As I said, we described her like Xavi and Iniesta, those two. So yeah, it's a pretty easy choice there for me.
Yeah. Some the last couple of seasons, maybe there's been 2 or 3 in the running that could have won it, but I think this year it was obvious from pretty much Christmas time that Mariona was going to win player of the season, really, wasn't she? So that's all the awards, and obviously Mariona's got quite a few, so she'll have to get a new case to put them all in, I'm sure. We're getting quite full, won't it, with everything else that she's won. So what I just want to finish with is obviously looking ahead now to next season and how we build on what we've just achieved. So let's finish off with this. So our hopes, of course, for 2025, 2026, and you saw from the picture there, the WSL trophy. That's pretty much all I want. All I want next season is to win the WSL. That's it. I'm not I'm not even. I know normally I would be. Next season, I'm not overly bothered about the domestic cups. Yes, it would be lovely to win the Champions League again, but realistically, is that possible? I don't know. It'd be difficult. The WSL for me now, we've got to build on this Champions League, have a big summer in some new players coming in, and next season we've got to get that off Chelsea. We have got to win that WSL.
Yeah.
That's got to be the aim of the season next year. We've got to throw everything at it. That has to be the aim. Some of the players have said it this week. That's what they want to. That's what they want to do now. They want to win the WSL.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, for me, that's top of the list for next season. But let's win it all if we can. But for me, if we win the WSL, that'll be job done. I mean, Andreas, what will be your hopes for next season?
Yeah, you showed the WSL trophy in the short video clip. So I would say no more blue ribbons on the WSL at the end of the season. This is a hope, and of course no big injuries for our teams. Competing for the WSL title until the end and not losing it very early. And of course, for me, it would be reaching the FA Cup final at Wembley, because I want to be at Wembley again. I want to see my team at Wembley this time. So yeah, and for the Champions League, making it to the semi-finals would be very good and extremely. Yeah, let's see. These are the hopes that we be able to compete for every title, and yeah, hopefully not Chelsea winning again the league title.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult, isn't it, to when you've won the Champions League, how do you top that? It's almost impossible, other than winning the Champions League and something else on top of it next season. But for me, realistically, the WSL, we haven't won the WSL title for quite a while now.
2019,
it's time that we did that. And I think that's the next step, isn't it? You know, we said before how important a domestic league is for how you judge a team. And I think we really need to win it. Yeah, you know, putting a challenge in, but I think we need to win it. I really do think we need to win it next season. We need to throw everything at it. If it means throwing the cup competitions, the domestic ones, I wouldn't actually mind that too much. No. This season we were out of the title race. We should have gone on to try and win them as well. Next season, if let's start the season well. Let's win our first 4 or 5 games. Let's be up there, and then we can rotate and rest the players when we need to in the other games, and let's go for that. That's what I want to see us do now, and that would be building on this, wouldn't it? If you win the Champions League this season, win the WSL next season, that's back-to-back great seasons, isn't it? And then we can push on from there and grow and hopefully get back to the levels that we knew previously, and we were winning the big trophies all the time. Emma, what will be your kind of hopes for next season? Obviously, the injuries is a good point as well, actually, not to have any.
Not it's difficult, but you never know. But to add more players to add, so we can, as Andreas rightly said earlier, have that rotation which Chelsea has, and give not have the same settled starting. I mean, it's good to have the same settled starting 11, but to have a good transfer window, that's going to set the tone. If we can have a good transfer in the summer, then we can aim higher. And now that we won the Champions League, we should be able to attract that top tier talent and close that gap to Chelsea. And then hopefully consistently stay in the league title race until the end of the season and hopefully win it. And if we don't, then at least we can say at least we've stayed there till the end or whatever happens. But I mean, to build on this Champions League success, add the domestic cup as well. So I think some of the transfer window is going to be key. And I mean, the aim would be to definitely try to knock Chelsea off their perch.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we've got to do. That is what we've got to do. Greg says, we've got to play all our home games at the Emirates. Boreham Wood pitch isn't good enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether that's going to happen next season, to be honest with you. But you're right, the Boreham Wood pitch, certainly in the second half of the season, was terrible. Really, really bad. It probably cost us that game against Liverpool. I know we should have played better, but yeah, no, you're right. We should be playing every game at the Emirates, but let's see what happens. LG says, I heard we are interested in Elizabeth of
I don't know.
To be honest, I want players I know are good, not players I haven't watched before. So go for someone like Olivia Smith
or Trinity.
I think we know Olivia Smith would be great. John says, Greg, we can't play all our home games at Emirates, as some will clash with the men's team, and they have nowhere else to play. No, but you can move them, can't you? One on a Saturday, one on a Sunday.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
You can arrange the fixtures. They do it all the time in like a Sunday league, if you've got two teams playing on the same pitch, one week one's at home, the other week the other one's at home. They can do that in this. They could do it. They could sync the fixtures so that they wouldn't clash. They could do it if they wanted to. But it's more about money anyway, isn't it? That's what that would come down to. I would like to see that happen. I would like to see us move into the Emirates permanently, and that to be the women's team's home. Absolutely, that should be the next step. But it's not going to happen next season, unfortunately. We are still going to have to play some games at Boreham Wood, and unfortunately, that might cost us with the pitch. You're right, but yeah, let's. The most important thing for next season, the injuries. I like that. We need to pray that we don't get serious injuries, and we need to build on this season's success, don't we? And winning the league title would be a good way to do that, wouldn't it? Unless you win the Champions League 2 seasons in a row, which would be something quite amazing, wouldn't it? But anyway, let's wait and see what happens. So that was the 2024-2025 season. It wasn't bad, was it? In the end,
no, of course
wasn't too bad. We've had worse seasons, haven't we? Overall, we've had a few worse seasons than that, so we can't really grumble too much. But yeah, it has been a great season. It's been a great season on the channel as well. I think our coverage of the women's team has grown a lot this season. We've got a lot more new people involved in the chats and stuff like that, which has been good. Yvette says a quadruple. Well, a quadruple would be great, wouldn't it? Let's not get too carried away, though. Are we quite ready for a quadruple? Yeah, I don't know. Agnes says just buy Atana now, and we're still riding on the Champions League wave. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Her improved English is an indication that she's already looking into WSL. Yeah, she seems more likely to go to Chelsea, I think. But anyway,
she won't go to Chelsea, man.
It would be great to get her, wouldn't it? It would be great. It would be great to get her. But we shall see. John says another thing I'd like to see this season is for the club to announce a new women's stadium. It was rumoured this year. Now we have a Champions League and a trophy cabinet. I don't think we can build a new stadium, can we? Building the Emirates nearly kind of cost us everything, didn't it? So I don't think we'll build a new stadium.
Yeah.
I think we need to just be at the Emirates, quite honestly. That's the answer. But let's see. So yeah, it wasn't a bad season, was it? Let's be honest. We are the champions of Europe. That sounds quite nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the good thing is, next season we have got from probably September when the season starts until the end of the season, we can just sing that at every single game.
Yes.
Everybody, particularly Chelsea. That's going to be so much fun playing Chelsea next season.
Exactly, yeah.
I hope we draw them in the FA Cup. I hope we draw them in the League Cup. I hope we draw them in the Champions League so we can play them like 10 times next season. We've got 10 opportunities to sing that song to them constantly throughout the game. Don't sing any other song against Chelsea. Just literally sing that from start to finish.
Yes.
That'll be fantastic. So yeah, let's play Chelsea loads of times next year. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be good, isn't it? We're going to enjoy next season, aren't we? Being champions of Europe is going to sound good, And what they need to do is, talking about next season, they should put the stars on a shirt, shouldn't they, for the women? The women should have a with the 2 stars on. That's what we need, because we are champions of Europe twice, and we need to celebrate it. Why hide it? Just because the men aren't good enough to win it, let's not hide behind that. Let's get those stars on Arsenal's kit for the women.
Absolutely.
Yvette says she refused Chelsea. Yeah, but she'll probably end up going there. I just got a feeling. Terry says, come on, you go girls. The new season starts now. Red H. Well, if she hasn't changed her mind yet, Terry, when's she ever going to change? She just won the Champions League in her first 8 months.
Exactly, man.
We're prepared to give Renee the benefit of the doubt, definitely. Not that there is much doubt now. Ag says, we are the champions. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, that was great when they played that. And by the way, actually, talking about the final, just before we go, if you haven't watched Andreas's vlog, why haven't you?
Watch it. Watch it.
Half the world has watched it already. But if you haven't watched it yet, definitely watch it, because it's brilliant. And you'll get a really good kind of feel of what it was like to be there, not only in the game itself, because there was some stuff at night, the day before in the fan village, and that brilliant stuff. It's had loads of views. It deserves a load more. And that's been one of the highlights of the season as well, hasn't it? Andreas's vlogs all through the season, from the start of the season all the way through. So many of them. Most of them have got really good views. Yeah, when we've lost games, people haven't been quite so keen to watch them, but you understand why. But next season, and whether we win, lose, or draw, watch the vlogs anyway, because the vlogs are good, regardless of how the game went. How the game went The vlogs are great, so watch them anyway. But yeah, that one from the final was absolutely brilliant. The best one yet, I think. So definitely check that out if you haven't already watched it. Now, as I did touch on at the start of the show, there are going to be a few changes to the channel next season. You can see we're sort of rebranding it a bit more to favour the women's team, because I want to put the focus. I mean, the focus this season has been mainly on the women's team anyway. Certainly, the longer the season's gone on, but I just want the channel now to be more focused on the women's game. So nothing's going to change too much. We're still going to do the show. We're still going to have the games on, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have the vlogs and all that, everything else. But just going to be more focused on the women's game, women's football, the Lionesses. We're going to be doing the Euros in the summer, of course, as well. And, more stuff on the WSL and that kind of stuff rather than the stuff from the Premier League. We'll still do the odd men's game here and there, but that's not going to be the focus of the channel. I want people to understand and recognise this channel as the Arsenal Women's channel.
Yes.
That's what we do the majority of the stuff on. And I want to rebrand it for that. Everything's going to be focused on that now going forward. And people say, oh, it's because of the Champions League. It's not. This whole season, even the last season before, the channel's been more focused on the women's team anyway. So I just want to go to full hog now and focus on that, and that's what the channel is going to be more dedicated to going forward. So not more dedicated to, but it's going to be more promoted as a women's channel as opposed to just an Arsenal channel in general, which is where it was before. So please stay with us for that. And I know the logo is slightly different and stuff, but we are still the same. So do still find us as you was before. I'm sure you will. You have tonight, so that's the main thing. So that's it for this season. Then it has been a season of ups and downs, some real down lows, and there's been some unbelievable highs as well. Highs that we couldn't have imagined. Back in October, that will live with us forever. So we want to thank the team for what they've given us this season, the manager and everybody else at the club for what they've done for the women's team and for women's football, and look forward to more great memories, I'm sure, to come next season. Andreas, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show again this season. Your vlogs have been fantastic, and that's been for me. Have you enjoyed the show this season? Have you enjoyed obviously being with us again tonight?
Yeah, of course, I enjoyed tonight and the whole season, and I'm absolutely grateful to be a part of this show, and thank you for this opportunity to be part of the Arsenal community and family. It's just great for me. And I thank everybody who watched my vlogs during the season. More than 4,500 viewers for the vlog for the final. It's amazing. Thanks to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that you will continue the show. And for me, it will be absolute pleasure to be part of the show even next season. Looking forward to it. And if you're doing something for the Euros, a show or so, I would like to be a part of it. I'm in Switzerland for 4 games, 2 German and 2 England games. So
nice.
Looking forward to everything that's coming, and thank everybody who was watching my vlogs. And I made so many friends at Arsenal, at the Emirates, at Meadow Park. I met wonderful people, and I'm thankful for everything to be part of this Arsenal community. Thank you, and looking forward to everything that's coming.
Good job, mate.
Yeah, and it is good, isn't it? That now you're getting recognised at the games and stuff like that, which is good. And that's what we want, really. It makes it a lot more fun. Greg says, "Thanks for a great season. You three make supporting the club more fun. You do a great job." Well, I mean, it's all about you guys, isn't it? You guys in the chat are always there every show. You're always giving us your thoughts and your comments and stuff, which is great. We appreciate all of that as well. Vicky says, "Thank you so much, great chat." I'll say thank you very much as well for everybody who's watched the show this season. And obviously that season before. Terry says, I've been away until yesterday, so I'll be watching Lordy's vlog tonight. You've got to do that, yeah. Watch my running vlogs as well, yeah, they're pretty good. But yeah, definitely watch Andreas's one. I can't believe you've not watched it already, Terry. That's not good, is it? You should have watched. I've watched it about 10 times in the last week. So I haven't watched it at all. But yeah, no, it's been a great season. Obviously, Amar as well. Have you enjoyed being with us this season and obviously previous seasons?
I mean, it's been great. It's been something I've loved doing for the last 4 or 5 years. It's become part of my life now, and it's great to follow something I love and adore the most. And long may it continue. I mean, I'm not going to probably reach Andreas's levels in terms of vlogging and stuff like that, but I'll give it my best go. Just coming up and doing my stat research and getting the stats out and whatever. Just getting myself, involved in this kind of thing as well. Great. And then, yeah, thanks for having me. And we'll look forward again to next season.
Exactly. Next season is going to be, could be even more special, couldn't it? Let's be honest. It could be. It's got the potential to be. Let's see what the summer brings first. So we are here for the Euros. So what we'll do is there'll be a preview show at the tournament, probably the week just before, in the week when it's going to be before the first games. And then obviously we'll be covering the England games, and we'll probably do a weekly show, summing up the week, from, obviously trying to fit it in around when the games are on and stuff like that, which is going to be tough, but, we'll just have to, we'll probably try to stick to a Friday if we can, but we'll do a weekly show throughout the Euros. Obviously, we'll cover the England games, and we'll have a preview show as well at the tournament. So stay tuned for all of that. And then, of course, we'll have a little bit of time off. As soon as the Euros is finished, it's going to be getting So we won't have much of a break, but we'll enjoy what we can. Terry says, house hunted in Spain. It just
nice.
Move in with Mariona's parents. I'm sure they'll I'm sure that's John said it's a great vlog. It is definitely a great vlog. You've got to watch it. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's it for 24-25. We finished the season as champions of Europe. We're going to be champions of Europe the whole of next season, regardless of what happens. So we can enjoy that. We're going to have a good time next season. It's going to be great. Thank you for joining us this season. Thanks for all your support of the channel. Thanks for all your comments. Cheers. Obviously, thanks to Andreas. Thanks to Amar. Thanks to Andrew who's been on. Thanks to Mike who was on. We even got a Matt on, didn't we, a few weeks ago? That was great. And I mean, Harry, I'm sure Harry will come on again at some point. So thanks to everyone that's been involved. I say thanks to all you guys in the chat. There's been new people this season that's found us and staying with us, which is great. So thank you to all of you guys. Really do appreciate it. And of course, we have got a couple of new little intros I've made. I'll probably do a better one for next season. These will just thrown together.
Right.
But thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Andreas and Amar. Thanks to you guys. We will see you for the Euros in a few weeks' time.
See you then, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the start of the summer. Hopefully the weather might improve here because it's not been very good this weekend. Anyway, we will see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Gunners. We are
champions of Europe. Yeah.
Champions of Europe. Doesn't it sound good? It's going to be a great year coming up. So stay with us. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.